The Chicago Cubs are on the air. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome once again to exciting Major League Baseball from Wrigley Field in Chicago, where the sun is shining for a change, and let's hope it stays out the remainder of the day as the Cubs take on the San Francisco Giants for the first time in the 1978 regular season. Rained out of yesterday's ball game, so the Cubs will conclude their homestand with a single encounter against San Francisco here tomorrow. I'm Vince Lloyd, and along with Lou Boudreau, we welcome you to our broadcast. Rick Russell warming up for the Cubs today down the left field line. The big veteran right-hander seeking his fourth win of the season. He had excellent success against the Giants last year. And against Russell will be a young, fine southpaw, Bob Knepper, K-N-E-P-P-E-R. And he has posted 2 victories against 1 loss so far this year. Tough pitcher. I'll have the batting orders for you in just a moment. Our broadcast today from Wrigley Field is brought to you by the Company of La Crosse, Wisconsin, makers of Old Style, the pure brewed beer from God's country. Celebrating Kids Day tomorrow with free sample Sundays for kids 10 and under. Take them over there to McDonald's and then come on out to Wrigley Field. Your Chicagoland Oldsmobile dealers. Find out how the Gallopman of Olds can make car buying a pleasure for you. And General Finance's 70s Chicagoland offices. Hey, you know, to borrow up to $10,000, all you have to do is pick up the phone and call Bob Adams. At end over 3-2-0-2. But True Value Hardware Store is not just a name, it's a way of doing business. Our broadcast is authorized under rights granted by the Chicago National League Ball Club, which has the right of approval of the announcers for this event. It is solely the entertainment of our audience, and any publication, rebroadcast, or other use of the descriptions and accounts of the game without the express written consent of the Chicago National League Ball Club is prohibited. Former Cub, two-time National League batting champion Joe Matlock in the starting lineup today, and Matlock will be leading off for Joe Altobelli and the Giants, as they like to come to their 13th win of this young season. Matlock playing at second base. Larry Whitfield with that second. Whitfield will be on the left. And Darrell Evans, a veteran at third base. Evans batting third. We'll talk about veterans. Mr. Willie McCovey, 20th year in the majors, will be at first base, and the big fella batting in the cleanup. Young Jack Clark will follow McCovey. Clark in right field. Larry Herndon in center. Herndon batting sixth. The catcher, Mark Hill. And Hill batting in the number 7 spot today. With the shortstop, Johnny LeMaster. Batting eighth, LeMaster will be followed by the young left-hander, Bob Knepper, 2-1 this year. And Knepper, last season against the Cubs, split a pair of decisions but pitched very, very well against them. For the Cubs today, Herman Franks will have Ivan DeJesus leading off. DeJesus is short. Manny Trio hitting in the number 2 spot against the left-hander at second base. Bill Buckner will be at first base. Buckner hitting third. Dave Kingman in left field, and Kingman today hitting in the cleanup position against his old teammates, the Giants. Bobby Mercer batting fifth, Mercer in right field. Steve Oliveras at third base. Oliveras hitting sixth. Lester Cruz in center field batting seventh, with Larry Cox doing the catching, batting eighth. And Rick Russell, 3-2 on the season, the Cubs starting pitcher this afternoon. And he had excellent success against San Francisco a year ago. Although I mentioned the Cubs as a team had good success against San Francisco. Here at Wrigley Field, they beat them 5 times and lost only once to them here in Chicago a year ago. Wound up the season, beating San Francisco 9 while dropping 3 times to the Giants. Plate umpire today is scheduled to be Eric Gregg, a newcomer to the National League. Veteran Billy Williams, the chief of his crew, slated to work at first base. Dick Schetto at second, and Bruce Fleming up in Milwaukee, working over at third base. While the sun is shining, we do have a bit of a cloud cover, and we do have another wind coming in off of Lake Michigan, making it considerably cooler here at the ballpark than it is where they take the official reading, for example, out at Midway Airport on the southwest side. Well, it's a lot cooler than it is out at O'Hare Airport on the far northwest side. Here at game time, it is a rather cool 48 degrees. Midway, for example, it's 57, and out at O'Hare, it's warmed up to 59 degrees. Let's hope that the rain hold off until tonight, and that they will not be around to play this tomorrow when we're scheduled to play the final game of this homestand. This is Jacket Day, and so is tomorrow. We've got a lot of the kids out here today sporting those dark blue Cup jackets with the replica of the Cup emblem on them. A little bit heavier jackets that they have given away here in the past, and they tell you they got to come in pretty handy today. We see a lot of the kids too wearing the replica of the Cup batting helmet or the Cup cap. Mom and Dad, in many, many cases, have joined the youngsters out here today, and we hope to see a lot more of them here tomorrow. Now, let's hope we'll have good weather too. But those blue windbreakers is all over the ballpark today. It is good to see him, and it's got good use for him today with that wind coming in off of the lake at officially 9 miles per hour. In case you missed it out on the West Coast last night, the Oakland A's made it 5 in a row as they continue their torrid start. Oakland racked up a 19th win, more victories than any other team in the majors. They've lost only 5, and they now lead California's Angels by 4 games in the American League Western Division as they knocked off Detroit last night 5-1. California winner over Cleveland 5-0, and Seattle lambasted Toronto 9-1. The White Sox, as I'm sure you know, were rained out, and they're getting underway in Boston with their first game this afternoon. And so Stone is going in the first game of the Cup. He's 1-1 against the undefeated Bill Lee, who has posted 4 victories for the Red Sox without a defeat. Baltimore, a winner last night over Minnesota, and the Yankees extended their winning streak to 5 straight as they ended the Texas Rangers' 7-game winning streak, defeating the Rangers 5-2. In New York, in second place in the Eastern Division today, 2 games behind the Tigers, with the Red Sox 2.5 away. And then Milwaukee got superb pitching from Mike Caldwell, 4-hit shutout over Kansas City to win 9-0. A couple of homers there by Sixto Lescado for Milwaukee. Milwaukee 5 games off the pace. They are 11-12 for the year. Then Cleveland, Baltimore, and Toronto. And the Western Division has made it Oakland, California, Kansas City, 4.5 away. The Rangers 7.5, and the Sox start their doubleheader today, 10 games off the pace of Oakland, followed by Seattle and Minnesota. The Cubs idled yesterday because of the rain. Now trailed Montreal, the pace setter in the Eastern Division, by 2 full games. Montreal defeating Cincinnati last night 4-3, despite Pete Rose getting his 3,000th hit of his great career. He had a couple of singles, one an infield chopper, and the other one he got out into the outfield. So he is out in play now. Still moving farther up the run. A leaders in career base hit. But the Reds a loser last night, while the Dodgers went over to Pittsburgh and knocked off the Pirates 7-2 with Bert Hooton getting that victory. Jesse Baker flying the home run collar. The Dodgers 2 games in front of the Reds, 3.5 in front of San Fran, and now our national anthem. Rick Russell, a big fellow, will be facing his former teammate Bill Matlock when we come back to start the ball game right after this message. Wouldn't it be great if all you had to do to help your tomato plants grow was water them? True Value Hardware stores are offering tomato guard fencing that eliminates the bother and work of staking and tying each plant. That means most of the hard work is taken out of the growing process. guard fencing around your tomatoes when you plant them for all the support they need to reach lush, ripe maturity. And each 30-foot roll of tomato guard fencing from your True Value hardware store is enough to cage 6 plants. So this year, take most of the bother and work out of planting tomatoes with tomato guard fencing from participating True Value hardware stores. Don't forget to tell them that Pat Summerall sent you. Stepping in, as we mentioned earlier, he's off to a very slow start this year, batting just .196, and he has been hampered by a knee injury. Got it in a double play. Set at bat 51 times, and he's already struck out 11 times, and that is far, far more than you'd expect from Bill. Hits a couple of homers, 6 runs batted in. Russell into the windup, first pitch of the ball game, swung on. And he fouls one out of play to the right side. We're underway. Davey Bristol, last year at this time, was managing the Atlanta Braves, coaching down at third, and Jim Davenport, former fine infielder, coaching at first base for San Francisco, with the bright orange pullover shirts, trimmed in the black. Matlock ready, and Russell's next pitch swung on. Bouncing ball gets by Steve Artaveras to his left side, and Matlock is on with the base hit to open up the ball game. Dave Kingman picking it up and getting it into second base. He had great success last year against the Cubs. It's Terry Whitfield, the left-handed hitting outfielder. Young man batting .272 with a couple of homers and 5 runs batted in. Rick, in his last outing against the Dodgers here on Tuesday, wound up with no decision, had to leave the ball game in the 9th inning. Here's a bunt dragged on the first base line. Buckner has it right at the edge of the infield grass. Turns, steps on the bag. Matlock goes to second on the sacrifice. There's one away. And Darrell Evans will be the hitter. Giants trying to get out in front if they possibly can. Evans batting .207. He has a homer this year and 9 runs batted in. And one outstanding season down in Atlanta a few years ago when he hit 41 home runs for the Braves. That was back in '73. Get him to play third and move Matlock to second. Mercer deep for him in right field. And Cruz is deep in center. The sidearm fastball misses outside, ball 1. Rangers have gotten underway at New York. No score early in that ball game. A couple of night encounters over in the American League. There's the pitch. Fastball, run on, fouls back out of play. Eric Gregg, one of the youngest umpires in the majors, later on this month, big fellow from Philadelphia, celebrate his 27th birthday, his first year in the National League. So look at Matlock at second, and Russell's next pitch outside, ball 2, strike 1. Kingman well off the line in left field, Cruz very deep in center. So look at second, here's the pitch, low and inside, ball 3, strike 1. With Willie McCovey due up next, up 3-1 on this hitter. Diego, by the way, defeated the Cardinals last night, 2-1. 3-1 delivery. He gets under the fastball, hits a high foul, and it's going to be into the seats out of play on the third base side to run the count to 3-2. Good turnout here at Wrigley Field today. As we had about 10 or 15 degrees increase in the temperature from what it is, we'd have had a much larger crowd. Russell working on Evans' 3-2 pitch. Goes after that sinker away, and he got a piece of it. He's still alive as he fouled it back up on a play. Dodgers playing at Pittsburgh this afternoon. Montreal just about to get underway at Cincy. 3-2 pitch. Swung on out at a high fly ball. Cruz and Kingman. It's Kingman's ball. He's there. And Dave circles around, makes the catch. Gets the throw in to DeJesus. Matlock holds at second base. But after being behind 3-1 on Evans, Russell gets him to fly out to Kingman. And that will bring up 40-year-old Willie McCovey. Institution of a legend, San Francisco. And here he played his career, for example, in New York. He would have even far more acclaim nationally than he has received. 3 homers and driven in 19 runs with a .219 batting average. His 20th year in the major leagues. Came up to the Giants. Not all of those 20 had been spent with the ball club. Russell's first pitch, and Stretch takes the ball low and away. Jack Clark in the on-deck circle. Matlock on at second base. And there's 2 gone here in the top of the first. Here's the pitch. Hangs outside, and it's 2-0. Trying to nip that corner away from McCovey. They're going to put him on intentionally now after getting behind him. Takes their chances with Jack Clark, who's hitting .244 and a couple of homers. 8 runs batted in. The Giants as a team are hitting only .222. The Cubs as a team start today hitting .247. The Cubs with 10 homers. The Giants with 14. Cubs with 71 runs batted in as a team. The Giants with 75. Clark, a right-hander. Very wide stance at the plate. Quick pitch to him. He takes a cut and he fouls it high up onto the net behind the plate. Now remember, tomorrow is the last day of jacket giveaway weekend. So if you're 13 or under, be one of the first 15,000 kids come out to Wrigley Field for Sunday's game against San Francisco, the last one of the homestand. Stretch the pitch. Big swing and a miss at a good fastball. Riding out into the belt. Gauge final jacket, being the Cubs blue with the Cubs emblem on it. You must have a fully paid ticket to get your free jacket. And bleacher tickets are not included. This is furnished by the Cubs. 2 on, 2 out. First inning, 0-2 pitch. Swung on and a fly ball. Center field. Cruz. One long run. Is he going to get there? Yep. Got held up in time. And the Cubs center fielder making the shoulder high catch in shallow right center, retiring the Giants in the first inning. No runs are hit. They leave 2 men on. And the Cubs come to bat against Bob Knepper here at Wrigley Field. It'll be DeJesus, Trio, and Buckner after a half inning, no score. So next time, try old style. Pure brewed in God's country. Before DeJesus stepped in, let's pause a moment for station identification. This is WGN, Chicago Cubs Baseball Network.
This is WTN Radio Chicago at 1:30.
Knepper against the Cubs last year, 1-1. This year he's 1-3 and lost 1. Last outing he went the distance against the Pittsburgh Pirates. That's his last start so far this year. He comes in with a very fine earned run average, 2.57. Just 24 years of age, pretty good size. 6'2", about 180, dark brown curls under that dark giant cap. Black with a little orange button on the top of it. The orange slices. Leaving a pretty good hole right at that pitcher's plate out there, trying to get himself a good, comfortable spot on it. White shoes with the orange stripe on them. Fine young pitcher. With 35 innings, given up only 27 hits, just 1 homer. Struck out 24. Completed 2 out of his first 5 starts this year. He'll be 24 on May the 25th. DeJesus, first pitch to him at strike. Ivan batting .292, driven in 5 runs, no homers for the Cubs shortstop, right-handed hitter. Center fielder Herndon, shallow in left center. Here's the pitch, swung on. Holds the ground ball, base hit through the home looking at first base, and Trio, taking a little mud out of his spikes, turns and gets his sign from third base coach Joe Malpicano. Pepper is southpaw. Together, stands pretty tall in that batter spot. Pepper steps and throws to first base. And Yvonne back in plenty of time. He's 2 for 3 in stolen bases. Big lead. Here's the pitch. Ties the bunt, and he fouls it back up onto the net out of play.
Well, with these two pitchers on the mound, both managers now have tried to get that man in scoring position and score to get out in front. That's how important it is when you have knowledge that that other pitcher might be a little tough for your ball club to score on. So you try to get that first run and then pick up 1 or 2 along the way.
The old story, you get 1, it takes 2 to beat you. Pepper looking directly at first base. Steps and throws over there. With his move to the plate on his first pitch to Trio, he had De Jesus taking a step back towards first. Another throw to first base, and this time De Jesus dives back in at first. Padre victory last night went to young left-hander Randy Jones, who hasn't beaten St. Louis often in his career. Another throw to first. Red McCovey reached down to put the tag on De Jesus and caught him as he went back in safely again. Wants to keep him close. Trio, of course, adept at going to the right side. And the Giants know that. Here's the step, and the pitch is outside. Ball 1, strike 1. Boy, he comes very near balking, doesn't he, Lou?
Yes, he keeps that leg up, gets it up very high. And that first base umpire, and I'm quite sure that Cookie Rojas has already mentioned a couple of words to Williams there to keep an eye on that foot. If he crosses back towards second base, past that left leg, it is a balk.
He brings it back across the pitching rubber, yeah. Looking at first, comes to the plate, puts the pitch out. Nothing going on, ball 2, strike 1. And Trio again checking signs to Rojas. Pepper normally with good control. This might be the pitch they try to hit and run on, huh? He's into the stretch. And again, a throw to first base. Pretty good one that time. Jones in his win last night over the Cardinals for San Diego. Beat them now only 3 times in his career. Lost to them 8 times. Up game. Go to first. Drawing some boos from the crowd here at Wrigley Field. Jesus gets a good lead on him. 2-1 pitch, he goes. Goes after it on the hit and run, and it's fouled back out of play. Pitch was up a little bit, and Trio protecting his teammate De Jesus, who was going with it. Just reached up, and all he could do is foul it off. Cubs had a team meeting here yesterday during the off day, and I understand that they were addressed by General Manager Bob Kennedy. Nobody out. Bottom of the first, here's the delivery. Trio goes after it, fouls it back out of play. Good do. I have not talked with Kennedy about it today, but the rumor going around is that he got a little bit upset. The ball club to show a little more spirit. They're a little less lackadaisical. Pepper kicks. Drove De Jesus back, and the pitch jams Trio, and he fouls it back out of play. And both Rojas and De Jesus are complaining to the veteran umpire, Billy Williams at first base, that that time when he brought that leg up in the air, he did come back over their pitchers at the mound, or over the plate. Billy Williams says, no, he did not. brought up to the National League umpire in 1963. Keeping a very close eye on Nepper. Step at his row. No question about that one. He did not balk on that move. But he is still drawing boos from the crowd here for his repetitive throwing over first base, trying to keep De Jesus close. He stepped off the rubber just as De Jesus was taking his lead, and he jumped back towards the bag again. 2-2 count coming up on Frio. Here he goes. Here's the pitch, and he swings and he fouls it back out of play, and De Jesus went sliding in on the seat of his pants. These two teams with identical records. 12 wins, 11 losses. Here at home this year, the Cubs have won 6, lost 5. The Giants on the road have won 8 and lost 6. So they've played well away from San Francisco. Anytime you can play 500 or better away from home, you're doing well. 2-2 delivery. Here it is. De Jesus doesn't go. Slow curve by Nepper, low and inside. And now on 3-2. Let's see if De Jesus won't be running. Manny has struck out only 6 times in 70 trips to the plate this year. Probably get another throw to first base. Here's a strike. Nope. De Jesus goes. Here's a swing. Ball knocked down by Evans, the third baseman. Scrambles. Throws to first base, and he has robbed Trio of a base hit. He pulled the ball sharply to the left side, and Evans dove onto the infield dirt, stretched out his body all the way, knocked the ball down, jumped to his feet in a hurry, got enough on that throw to nail Trio by a step. But De Jesus on at second. Super play by their 11th. That brings up Bill Buckner. The Cubs have seen an awful lot of left-handed pitching this year. And they have not done well against southpaws. They have won only 2 of their 12 victories against left-handers. They have dropped 6 decisions to them, 2 and 6. Nepper delivers to Buckner. Takes the fastball high, ball 1. Buck hitting .362. 1 homer, 4 runs batted in. Got his homer at Pittsburgh. Runner in scoring position. No score yet. Bottom of the first. Left-hander kicks, delivers. Strike call at the letters in the inside corner to level the count at 1-1. Boston with a 1-0 lead over the White Sox at the end of 1. They'll lead going after his 5th win without a loss against Steve Stone. Doria called him Bill a little while ago for some reason. Just occurred to me. One out, sidearm pitch. In too close to Buckner. 2-1 on Bill. Got more clouds coming in. Well, they list that wind officially at 9 miles per hour coming in. It seems to have picked up in velocity. I think about 12. You look at De Jesus is second. Nepper's kick, 2-1 pitch. Buckner swings. Big hit into center field. Here comes De Jesus around third. Herndon charging in. Puts the ball up and no play at the plate. 1-0 Cubs. Buckner's 5th run batted into the year. Pitch was moving away from Buck. Buck belt high. Good level swing. Now Dave Kingman with a left-hander on the hill, batting cleanup, stepping in. Batting 200 for the year. 3 homers and 8 runs batted in for the big right-hander. Step, pitch, and he looked like he was going to bunt one. Scared the daylight out of Darrell Evans, the third baseman. The pitch was up and in on him. He missed it completely for a strike. Buck, what's he doing? Perplexing everybody. Here's the pitch. Strike called in a good breaking ball. 0-2. He steps out of the batter's box for a moment. Giant outfield around to the left and deep. A gap between Herndon and Clark. Center fielder and the right fielder. Here's the pitch. Another curve, and he takes outside. 1-2. Cubs. Herndon readjusting the left shoe for a moment. Now the left-hander is ready. Gets his sign from Mark Hill. Kicks, comes to the plate. Curve, low and inside. Ball 2, strike 2. McCovey, of course, holding Buckner on at first base. Matlock skated way over towards second. Master, the shortstop, well over in the hole. Evans, pretty deep at third. Here's the pitch swung on. He drives foul down the left field line into the box seat. He was out in front of that one pretty good. Montreal, improved ball club. Their win at Cincy last night, 13-8 record, a half-game lead over the Phillies. The Mets 9-4. 2-2 pitch. Swung on a miss. Got him with a fastball that he jammed him with right at the letter. They're 2 away, and Bobby Mercer stepping in against his old teammate with a 2.79 average. He leads the ball club in runs batted in with 13 and has 1 homer. Straight away for him is Herndon in center. Locked deep in the right side, just in front of the outfield grass. Stepping a throw to first base. Buckner glancing back on the bag safely. 1-0 Cubs. Single by DeJesus. 1 out single by Buckner, bringing DeJesus in from second. Gets a shot under the glove of McCovey. Trickles out of the grass down the right field line. Buckner's going to third. Now Picano presents as far as he can go. Big stretch with the glove down, and the ball just trickled off of it. Got by him for a base hit. And Steve Montevera stepping in against his old teammate. That's been McCovey played behind the Buckner. He would have been able to feel that ball. I was surprised that Mercer had had in Buckner's condition with the left-hander on the mound that they would hold McCovey close to first base. I don't think they trust him, Lou. Figured he'd have probably stolen off. To have the decision over, I'm sure. Runners at first and third. 3 hits here. All singles by the Cubs in the first inning. Hill, Matlock, Bob Nepper, shortstop, Lemaster in a pow-off momentarily. Monday had another run batted in last night, giving him 25. Still leads the league in that department. Pitch to Ronneberg, swung on at a high fly ball to the right fielder. Jack Clark waiting for it. He's got it. And the side is retired. But the Cubs take the lead with 1 run on 3 hits, 3 2 men on. And at the end of 1, the Giants come to bat against Rick Russell. Cubs with a 1-0 lead. Larry Herndon, the lead off with San Francisco. 24-year-old right-hander. About 190. And knee injury last year, suffered in a game against the Pirates. Hitting .250 for the year. Russell's first pitch. Herndon takes the strike right at the knee. Doesn't have a homer this year, driven in 4 runs. Sidearm breaking pitch swung on. A soft little liner going to Manny Trio, second base. And the pitch just a couple of steps to his right, and Herndon is out of there. That'll bring up Big Mark Hill, the catcher. Batting just 197 with a homer and 5 runs batted in. Hill, 26 years of age. Stands slightly open, lays it back. Looks at a strike, a fastball to the knee. Cruz, straight away to center. Sidearm delivery. Just missed inside. Ball 1, strike 1. 1-0 Cubs. Final game of the homestand tomorrow. 1-1 delivery. Swung on. A drive into left field. Kingman coming out. It drops in front of him for a base hit. As Rick got that one up a little bit. Hit number 2 for the Giants. Brings it Lemaster. Shortstop batting .208. Driven in only 1 run. Got a right-hander. 8th man of the batting order. first pitch. Throws the sinker down too low. Ball one. We'll be at San Diego to lead off the road trip next Tuesday night. San Diego, Los Angeles, and then against the Giants before getting home. 1-0 delivery. Half swing, and he drops one into right center field for a base hit. Here is the runner going from first to third. Cruz picks it up, wheels it through here, and he is safe at third base. A little half swing by Lemaster, and he couldn't have placed it in any better spot. And they've got the tying run at third. Dropped into shallow right center field. Here's Bob Knepper. Not only a good pitcher, he's not too bad a hitter. Driven in a couple of runs this year, and he wants to be sure. There's no question about what he's supposed to do. He asked Davey Bristol, his third base coach, come up and have a little talk with him. The right-hitting Lemaster has Russell and the Cubs in a bit of a jam here. Davey jotted him back over to third. Left-handed hitter. He's 1 for 11 this year. Buckner holding Lemaster out at first. Russell delivers. Sidearm sinker. Swung on a miss. He put a little extra on that one. That's good kill here. Cruz well over into left center field for Knepper. And Mercer way off the line in right. Kingman has shadowed up a bit in left field. Russell gets his sign from Cox. Here's the pitch. Missed outside at the knees. 1-1. Stepped out for just a moment. Now he's ready. Just to that, almost at the knob. Russell delivers. Swung out. He pulls the ground ball to Buckner. He's going to come to the plate. Fox puts the tag on him for the out. Let me tell you, Buckner had to get the dirt in a hurry. Or Russell did, as Buckner scooped that ball up. And Russell coming over off the mound, as he should do, had to get down to avoid getting hit. But that throw into the tag by Larry Thompson's Mark Hill. They have runners at first and second with 2 gone and Madlock the batter. And the Cubs still leading 1-0. Fielder's choice for Knepper. Lemaster on at second base now. Madlock opened the ball game with a single into left field. Stretch the pitch. Takes the strike, pitch sinker right at the knees. There's a lot of his relatives and friends from down Decatur way up here today. Look at second base. Wrestle stick. Curveball a little low. 1-1. Taking it downstate down in Peoria. Next Friday, May the 12th. Mayor Carver of Peoria has proclaimed it Joe Stoll Appreciation Day. That is a big night for him. Here's the swing and a hard one hopper out of there. Snaps it down. Gets his feet through the second. They force Bob Knepper. The side is retired on a super play by the Cubs third baseman, Steve Audibert, robbing Madlock of a hit and robbing the Giants of a run. No runs, 2 hits, 2 Giants left on. They left 2 men on in the first inning. And the Cubs come to bat at the bottom of inning number 2 at Wrigley Field, still leading San Francisco 1-0. About that big night for Joe Stoll. Then the basketball coach down at Bradley a long time. And then next Friday night, when we'll be in Los Angeles against the Dodgers, those friends are going to be gathering to honor him with the theme "This Is Their Life." Public is invited to attend the affair down at the field house at Bradley University Friday night. Wish we could be there. And hope you'll be able to attend. Kid, have you made your public pick yet for the big derby today?
No, not yet.
All right, what is it? You got 5 o'clock.
I'll announce it.
Oh, give me that now. Last year, I remember you made a pick on the air, and by golly,
second year in a row.
I haven't even heard what condition that track is in over there today. Hector Cruz leading off, batting .262. Takes the first pitch, a little high, fastball, ball one. A couple of homers, 4 runs batted in. Nepper's pitch, the right-hander swings, and he gets entered, fouls it back out of play. 1-1. Larry Cox in the on-deck circle. Dave Rader is able to do the catching, but he's still not able to swing a bat. At least not without some pain. 1-1 delivery. Goes after. Hits one back up the middle. Diving stop made by Lemaster. Throws while he throws. Not in time. Let me tell you, that Cruz was taking as hard as he could go, and Lemaster almost came up with a super play. Kept the ball from going into the outfield, and while he was on his side out there in the infield dirt, he made the good throw to first base. How'd you like that one, Lou?
Well, we've got a diving contest going on here today.
Without the water.
That's 3 diving stops in the first 2 innings. Tremendous plays on all behalf. Evans, on the Barrett, and now this one.
Here's Larry Cox, right-handed hitter. He takes, hits a strike. Cox 5 hits in his first 18 at bats. Larry batting .278. He's driven in a couple of runs.
I think on all 3, I'd give out the Barrett a 9. The other 2 an 8.
So 1 pitch. Swung on, and he rolled one past the mound, but it hit him in the batter's spot, so it's going to be a foul ball. Pitch down and in on it. Well, the Pirates hit the Dodgers. John Sutton with 3 runs in the first inning today. On behalf of John Candelaria, his only victory so far was that shutout against the Cubs in his first outing of the season. He had lost his next 4 decisions. Cincinnati has a 1-0 lead at the end of 1 over Montreal, with Tom Seaver going after his first win of the year again, facing Rudy May. He's 2-1 for the Expos. Stretch the pitch by Nepper. Cox takes the fastball is outside, 1-2. Texas and the Yankees tied 1-1 at the end of 2 this afternoon. Umbarger against Bidrow. And the Sox and Red Sox are tied. Breaking ball taken for strike, 3 calls. 2 strikeouts by Nepper brings up Rick Russell looking for his first hit of the year. See if they're going to have him sacrificed, but the Aces do up 1 out. Stone against Lee. Sox tied in the second, batting in the third. In their first game this afternoon at Boston. Here it's 1-0 Cubs. In the bottom of inning number 2, the pitch. He's going to bunt, pops it up. Who's going to get it? Markale, the catcher. Grabbed it about 15 feet away from the plate on the third base side. And Rick has had his problems sacrificing this year. Cruz has to hold at first base. That brings up the Aces, who signaled and has scored the only run of the day so far by anybody. Got the second at Trios. Ground ball on which Evans made a tremendously fine stop, and he drew out Trios. And then Buckner slapped a single into center field. Buck's 5th run back into the year. From the stretch, the pitch, the runner goes. He swings at a high fly ball. Going back for it is Herndon in deep right center, shading his eyes, reaches up, he hauls it in. The side is retired. 1 hit. The Cubs leave a man on. There have been 7 runners stranded already here today. 4 by the San Francisco Giants, who come to bat at the end of 2, with the Cubs leading 1-0.
Corned beef or pastrami sandwich, with or without bread. Visit your favorite restaurant, delicatessen, or food store displaying the Vienna name. And for the best hot dog in town, look for a Vienna hot dog stand.
The Giants come to bat. Let's pause for station identification. This is the WGN Chicago Cubs Baseball Network.
This is WGN Radio Chicago at 1 minute before 2 o'clock.
Vince Floyd at Lou Boudreau. Lou, come on in.
First hitter for the Giants in the 3rd inning is Whitfield. Left-hander hitter, and he swings and misses at the first pitch. Thrown to him by Russell. Next pitch, the curveball outside. 1-1 the count. Cubs lead 1-0. Third inning. First seeded of these two ball clubs in the February season. There's a tap foul. They faced one another several times in spring training as the Giants start their spring training in Casa Grande and then move over to Phoenix, to the Municipal Stadium in Phoenix. Cubs, of course, trained in Scottsdale last year. And next year, it'll be in Mesa. Hit, swing and a miss on a sinker. Whitfield strikes out. That's the first strikeout for Rick. Now here's Evans. Fly out to Freeman in left field in the first inning. Cubs with 1 run, 4 hits. Giants, no run. In left field in the first inning. Cubs with 1 run, 4 hits. Giants, no run, 3 hits. Rick Russell taking his 4th victory of the year. Get this time from Larry Cox. Here's the pitch. Curveball low, inside, ball 1. The pitch. Swing and a foul back to the screen. Reason that Machiavelli, manager of the Giants, wanted to move Matlock to second base was to get this man back in the lineup. Evans. He's played the outfield. He's played first. He's played third. Swings and lines that ball into left field. That's what I mean. He singles into left field with 1 out here. That's the 4th hit off Rick. That will bring Willie McCovey to the plate. Given an intentional walk in the first inning. That's the tying run at first for the Giants. What a great career this gentleman has had with the Giants. 496 career home runs. Evans is driven back to first base by Rick. The pitch outside, ball 1. McCovey is now 12th in the home run derby as careers. The pitch outside, ball 2. He's going after Millot, who's in the 11th spot with 5-11. Willie has been going to the opposite field more. Here's a hit, ball 3, no strikes, as Russell being very careful of Willie McCovey. He may be given the green light on this particular pitch. 3-0. The pitch. He takes a strike. He is not going after it. It's now 3-1. Evans on first. 1 out. 3-1 pitch by Russell. Swing and a miss. He was late on that fastball by Rick. And now it's 3-2. Evans with the lead at first. He has to dive back as Russell drives him back to the bag. Now Rick has the sign. Here's the 3-2 pitch on its way now to McCovey. There goes Evans. That's swinging a fly ball to left field. Kingman is there. He has it for the out. Evans returns to first base. 2 outs now. Here's the youngster Clark. And he is a free swinger. He'll swing at anything thrown up there if it's near the strike zone. He has 2 home runs with 8 RBIs thus far this year. He's batting now with 2 outs in the 3rd inning. Evans on first. Russell into the stretch. The kick and the pitch. High curveball outside, ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes on Clark. Cubs playing Clark deep in all positions. So to first, once again, Evans gets back. Safely. Evans has 1 stolen base to his credit. ready, set. Here's the pitch. Pop foul down the right field line. Ontiveros is deep at third for this right-handed hitter. Now Rick gets the sign. It's set. Goes to first. Evans has to dive back as he extended his lead that time and looked as if he might be going towards second base. Time is called at the plate, and Rick keeping an eye on Evans. Actually, he didn't see that time until one of his players called to him. There goes Evans. Here's the pitch, popped up behind the plate. Wind carrying it near the wall. There he cocked his up, but he cannot make the catch. It's back about 3 rows into the box seat, and Evans was off on an attempt at steal. Comes out in front, 1-0. Now Evans, once again, back at first base and has a walking lead, and Rick stopped him with that stretch. The pitch, swinging a foul back on the screen. He was not going on this pitch, so he may be going on this one. A count of 1 ball, 2 strikes on Clark. Evans with his lead. Rick takes a glance at him, goes over the first. Gets tagged by Buckner, but it's too late. Evans dives back safely. Now, once again, we're all set. The pitch, swinging another foul onto the net by Clark. So the count remains 1 ball, 2 strikes. Comes outfield, plays Clark straight away. There goes Evans. Here's the pitch outside. Cox is going to Creel this time. A great throw by Larry Cox, as that was a curveball outside. He had to backhand that ball, one-handed, quickly go into that glove, hit it out with his right hand, and fired a Creel for the out. In the 3rd inning, no runs, 1 hit, nobody left on base. That's the end of 2.5 innings of play. Cubs 1, Giants nothing.
Very officers. Well, General Finance's friendly Bob Adams. The borrow up to $10,000. Just pick up the phone and call, hand over 3-2020. And General Finance also has an office out in Joliet.
Well, we certainly know that Sandy is listening in. Great Cubs fan, always sitting in the first box seats here. And we want to wish her a happy birthday. Our good friend Sandy, she's looking exceptionally great out there. Manny Trio steps in the batter's box. Trio singled in the 1st inning and was driven home by Buckner. That's the only run of this ball game thus far. First pitch to him by Nepper. Fastball low inside, ball 1. Trio, I should say, was thrown out by Evans on a tremendous play in the 1st inning. It was the Aces that opened up the game with a single. Ball 2. Now the count. The Manny Trio will be followed by Buckner and then Kingman. Here's a swing and a line drive, base hit into left field. Trio opens up the 3rd inning for the Cubs with the 5th hit off Nipper. Now let's see what Buckner will do. Buckner singled into center field first time at bat, scoring to Jesus in second base. Southpaw into the stretch. Trio has a tremendous lead. Here's the pitch. Fastball for a strike. Let me tell you, that's the best lead that I've seen Trio get this year. So when a ball player does that, extends his lead, he has the pitcher down pretty pat as to when he's going to throw over to first base. Nepper throws over there. Trio gets back safely and very easily. This is what ball players, especially base runners, will pick out on a pitcher. Just some characteristic that they know when they're going to go to first base. Curveball and a swing and a miss by Buckner as he whirls around in the batter's box. 2 strikes. Dave Kingman due up next. Nepper into the stretch. The pitch, pitch out. He sort of faked going to first base by nodding his head to first base, then fired a pitch out, hoping they get Trio to take a couple of giant steps towards second base. Trio with that tremendous lead again. Sidearm pitch popped up in the short right field. The right fielder Clark coming in. Passes down. He has it for the out. Buckner flies out to Clark in right, and here's Dave Kingman. Kingman struck out in the first inning. On the way. Fastball and a swing and a miss. Strike 1. One out here in the third inning. Inside. Fastball. Ball 1. 1-1 to count. First base. Nepper goes into the stretch. Here's the pitch. Curveball inside. Ball 2. 2-1 to count. And now Hill wants to have a chat with Nepper. He doesn't want Nepper to make a mistake here, or it's too quickie for the Cubs. Save your gas and use the CPA to come out and watch the Cubs play. Inglewood, Jackson, and Howard Street L subway trains stop less than a block away. Curveball inside, ball 3. The number is 22, Clark Street bus, and the number 152, Addison Street bus, lets you off right at the main gate. You won't use 1 drop of gas or miss 1 drop of the action if you go see the Cubs via CPA. This message furnished by the Chicago Cubs. 3-1 pitch, inside, ball 4. He wouldn't go after it. So Kingman walked. That's the 5th time that he's walked this year. 1 intentional. That moves Trio to second base. And Bobby Mercer steps in the batter's box. Under the glove of Willie McCovey at first base. Now Mercer steps out of the batter's box and gets signed from the plate umpire Gray. Nepper having trouble with his time. Now he steps. Checks the runners. Here's the pitch. Curveball. Strike call. Cubs have runners on first and second. Third inning. Cubs lead 1-0 in this ball game. 1 out. Steve Strange defeats Matlock at second base. 1 strike pitch to Mercer. Curveball and a swing and a miss. Mercer fell back away from that curveball, but didn't make contact as it was inside. McCovey deep at first. Masters close to second base, holding Trio close to second base. Evans far off of that third base line. Here's the 2-strike pitch by Nepper. Fastball outside and high. It's 1-2 on Mercer. short lead at second. Kingman off first base. 1-2 pitch. Curve ball outside, and it's 2-2. He almost chased it, then stayed away from it. So now the count is 2-2. Left-handers quite well. Another run or two certainly would aid the cause here. Well, Bush will get his fourth victory. Ball 2, strike 2 to count. Popped up behind the plate. The wind will carry this out of play. So Mercer gets another chance. Monteveres in the on-deck circle. Monteveres burdened with that hitting club, hoping to get out of it today. Nepper with a new baseball, rubbing it up, blowing on his fingers, which is permissible today. Now shows that rubber. Trio at second, Greenwood at first. Nepper is ready. Here's the pitch now to Bobby Mercer. Curveball swing, a line drive. McCovey has it. Looked up, and he missed it. Kingman, as he dives back to first base, just preventing a double play. Billy Williams, the umpire, right on that play. We get no complaint from Madlock at second to Orr McCovey. So Kingman just beats that tag by an eyelash. And who knows, that might mean a lot for the Cubs if Monteveres can come through here with a base hit. Mercer hit a line drive right to McCovey. Trio remained at second. Kingman, fortunately, dove back to first safely. Now here's the first pitch on its way to Monteveres. High curveball, didn't break. Slipped right out of the fingers of Nepper. 1 ball, no strike. Monteveres flied out to Clark in right center in the first inning. 1 ball pitch on its way. Popped up. Shortstop under it. He's still under. Now he takes it for the out. Monteveres looked like he was just reaching for that ball. He didn't have a good swing at all. That's what happens when you're in a slump. You just try to make contact. He did, but he popped it up. Third inning, no run, 1 hit. Once again, 2 men left on the bases. At the end of 3, Cubs 1, Giants up. Rick Russell will face Clark, who is at bat in the 3rd inning when Evans was thrown out on an attempt to steal. And then Herndon, and then the Hill. Cubs leading by 1 run, 1-0. Clark takes the bunt, takes the pitch on the first sidearm fastball by Russell. Ball 1, low. Russell working quickly. There's a strike called, a good fastball over the heart of the plate. 1 ball, 1 strike. The pitch. Curveball, line drive, base hit. The left field as Russell got that ball up and in on Clark. There's the 5th hit of this ball game for the Giants. It opens up the 4th inning with a single, and here's Herndon. Very fast. He lined out the trio in the 2nd inning. Go to first base to drive Clark back safely. Russell. First pitch. Swing and a ground ball out to Barrett. He goes to Trio for 1. Throw to first, double play. Just 18th double play of the season. It was made to order. A 1-hopper right down to Barrett. And he fired a strike to Trio, and in turn, Trio fired a strike to Buckner. So that erases Clark. For the bases. 2 out. And here's Hill. Mark single in the left field in the 2nd inning. Rick Russell on the mound. Hill taking his time getting in the batter's box. Now he's set. Stands very close to that plate. First pitch is a strike call, a sidearm pitch over the inside outside corner. Russell pitch on the way. Oh, too low. 1-1 the count. Cubs lead 1-0. We're in the fourth inning. 1-1 pitch. Swing and a line drive. Base hit to left field by Mark Hill. So Hill has 2 for 2. And that's the 6th hit off Wick. But he has sort of spaced them out quite well. And of course, the double play has helped tremendously. Now here's the Master, who on a check swing singled to right center. His first time at bat. LeMaster levels the bat over the plate. Here's the pitch. Outside, ball 1. Hill is not rated very fast, and Buckner is playing behind him. LeMaster takes low, ball 2. Nipper, the pitcher, due up next. Looking for that third out here in the fourth inning. LeMaster swings, gets the ground ball to Jesus, who tosses it to Trio, forcing Hill at second base. Fourth inning, no runs, even though the Giants come up with 2 hits. 1 man left on base. Cubs coming to bat. Fourth inning, Cubs 1, Giants nothing. In the fourth inning, the Cubs will send Cruz, Cox, and Russell to the plate against Pepper. Let me remind all you folks in and around Champaign that Monday night will be a testimonial dinner for Lee Albrecht, fine baseball coach for the University of Illinois, who is resigning after 27 years as a baseball coach. A very fine banquet put on by the Campus Businessmen Association, not only honoring Lee, but also the track team, tennis team, and other sports team from the University of Illinois. And there's still tickets available if any of you folks want to stop in and pay tribute to a very fine gentleman and one who has been dedicated to his work in teaching, coaching baseball. And a very fine youngsters. He's had some very fine memories over those 27 years. He relieved the late Wally Lecter at Illinois. Billy Johnson, chairman of the affair, is putting on that fine testimonial dinner for Lee. Here's the first pitch to Cruz. Ball 1 outside, and Cruz got an infield hit. Then LeMaster dove after his ground ball and threw from a kneeling position, and Cruz just beat the throw for a base hit. Here's a swing and a pop foul out of play. Yes, George Williams will be there. He at the banquet. In a cup. He's going to usher, but it'd be nice to see George and Ray Elliott, all the rest of the folks down there, Guy Gelman. 1 ball, 1 strike on the Hector Cruz. Giants play him straight away. Center fielder Herndon is just skating a little into left center. Let up. It's low. Ball 2, strike 1. Nepper is one of the fine young left-handed pitchers in this game of baseball. He has all the pitches. Good fastball and a line drive that lands in front of Evans at third base. Grabs it on the short hop and throws to McCovey for the out. The ball hit very sharply right to Evans. That was you do or you don't on a play like that. You don't have time to think. You don't have time to duck. You just put the glove down and hope that it lands in the pocket. And then get the blood circulating again and taking your time and throwing the batter out at first base. First pitch is a ball to Larry Cox. He was called out on strike in the second inning. Nepper's wind up and pitch, fastball. Swing and a miss. 1-1 to count. Larry Cox doing a very fine job for the Alien Raiders. Swing and a cap, foul right at the plate. 2 strikes. White Sox have taken a 2-1 lead over Boston. Red Sox batting now in the 4th inning. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 1 out. Nobody on base. Cubs lead 1-0. Curveball inside. 2-2 the count. Cubs scored their 1 run in the 1st inning. Nepper has a shot. Here's the 2-2 pitch to Larry. He's tried to check this swing, but the plate umpire says it tipped the bat, and he's called out on strikes, and Larry has no argument. It tipped his bat as it went by, and it was caught by him. That's the 3rd strikeout for Nepper, and now with 2 outs in the 4th inning, here's Russell at bat. And he takes the first pitch for a strike. Infield, shallow, goes the outfield for Rick. Next pitch is high, outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Rick failed to sacrifice his first time at bat. Now with nobody out here, he's swinging away for a base hit. He takes that pitch outside, ball 2. Strike 1. Let's pause 5 seconds for station identification. This is the WGN Chicago Cubs Baseball Network.
This is WGN Radio, Chicago.
Russell swings and misses at the next pitch. Now the count is 2-2. The pitch. Almost hit him. Backs away from it. Full count, 3-2 on Rick. The pitch. Swing and a miss and a high fastball outside. 4 strikeouts for Nepper, 2 in this inning. In the 4th inning, no runs, no hits, nobody left on base for the Cubs. At the end of 4, Cubs 1, Giants not participating McDonald. Nepper is to lead off for the Giants, who come to bat here in the 5th inning, trailing 1. I think it will be the top of the batting order. And another action today, let me bring up to date on it. Cincinnati hit Montreal with 4 runs in the 2nd inning, and they're leading 5-0 at the end of 3. They knocked out Rudy May. Tom Seaver going after his first win of the season. Still on the hill for the Reds. Pittsburgh leading the Dodgers 3-0 at the end of 3. Sutton against Candelaria. And the other action in the National League is to take place tonight. In the American League, Sox leading Boston 2-1 in their first game. That's at the end of 4. Nepper, left-hander, stepped in. Russell's first pitch is a strike to him. I'm sure it's the ball a little bit higher. Wind-up. There's one swung on, and it drives to Mercer in right field. Bobby is there, makes the shoulder-high catch for 1 away. Good line drive off the bat of Nepper. Brings up Madlock, singled in the 1st inning, was robbed of a base hit in the 2nd when he came to bat with runners at 1st and 2nd. And Oliver made a great diving stop. Knocked the ball down and was able to get the 4th out at second base to retire the side. 2 plays so far in the ballgame by Oliver. Bill 1 for 2 today. Start of the afternoon, hitting only 196. Russell's pitch, swung on a miss. Right arm fastball, broke exactly away. Steve Stone against Bill Lee in that first game between the 2 Soxers at Boston. There's a swing and a bouncing ball to Oliveira. This is going to be easy. He's got it. 1 hopper that time. With the bases empty, 2 gone, Whitfield stepping in, sacrificed in the 1st inning after Matlock singled. Whitfield led off the 3rd by striking out. Yankees are running the 1st. Texas tied it with 1 in the 2nd. New York now batting in the bottom of the 5th inning, tied at 1. Kansas City leading Milwaukee 1-0. Here's the swing. 1 hopper into the glove of Russell. It's going to be an easy inning. That's right. 3 up, 3 down in a hurry. To bat at Wrigley Field. Bottom of the 5th is going to be the top of the batting order up, and the Cubs are leading the Giants 1-0. car, how do you want a salesman to treat you? A little respect? A little dignity? Should the salesman be helpful, informative, polite, courteous? All these things? Well, your Chicagoland Oldsmobile dealers aren't perfect, but every day they're trying to make buying an Oldsmobile as pleasurable as owning one. How? Well, with the attitude of warmth and confidence in their product, confidence in Oldsmobile. Your gallant men of old believe in building a long-term relationship with a customer, and that means the type of sincerity and honesty that puts people at ease. It's why you'll feel comfortable in an Oldsmobile showroom. So visit your Chicagoland Oldsmobile dealer today. Find out how they can make car buying a pleasure for you. Has scored the only run of the ball game so far. Into the first inning, left shortstop singles. Got the second on Manny Cleo's ground ball, on which Evans made a great stop to rob him of the base hit, but he couldn't prevent DeJesus from getting into second. And then Buckner left a single into center field, bringing in Devon. That's the scoring story so far. DeJesus 1 for 2 against left-hander Bob Knepper. Kansas City has Clickdorf going up at Milwaukee today. He's 4 and 2 against Sorensen, who's 2 and 2. First pitch of the curve. It's in there for a strike. Clickdorf won his first 4 decisions, and Paul lost his next 2. Wind up the delivery. Another curveball. Just missed. Mark Hill not too happy with that call by the rookie umpire behind the plate, Eric Gregg. 1-1 delivery. Another curve, and it misses a little high and away. 2-1 now. Detroit at Oakland later this afternoon. Oakland with a win last night, now 19 and 5. A 2-1 pitch. Swung on a high fly ball. Herndon, the center fielder, coming to his right and in. He's under it. Makes the catch in shallow left center. 1 away in the 5th inning, and that'll bring up Manny Trio. Led off the 3rd with a single to left field after being robbed his first time up. Got the second when Dave Kingman drew a walk with 1 away. And Mercer lined hard to the first baseman, McCovey. He just missed a double play. Would have retired the side, but it turned out to make no difference. Donovares then popped up, and that was the end of that threat. Knepper winds, and the youngster's first pitch swung on a fastball up at his eyes, and he fouls it back out of play. Three games going on in the American League this afternoon, and 3 in the National. Knepper winds. Trio swings, ground ball to the second baseman, Matlock. He scoops it up, flips the throw over to McCovey, and there's 2 gone at the bottom of the 5th inning. That'll bring up Buckner. Knepper with 4 strikeouts for the day. He did only 1 walk. That's a single. Cubs have 5 hits off of him, and the Giants have 6 hits off Rick Russell. Did some fine pitching for him last year. He started the season for him down at Philly. When Montefusco ran into physical problems, he put on the DL for a while. They brought this kid up, and he took advantage of every opportunity. He's got a good arm. Fastball to Buckner, and he takes it for ball 1. Hill gets the sign. Here's the windup. And Buckner takes. There's the strike. Inside corner. Eric Gregg, a native of Philadelphia, first year umpiring in the National League. Chief of this crew is working at first base, Billy Williams. 1-1 pitch, swung on, drive to right field, hit well, Clark going back, he's got room, reaches up one-handed. And the Cubs, like the Giants in the 5th inning, go down in order. So at the end of 5 at Wrigley Field, San Francisco comes to bat against Rick Russell. It'll be Evans, McCovey, and Clark. And the Cubs still leading 1-0. I came off the tee, but my cars keep on bucking and coughing. I kept
running 5, 10 seconds after it turns on.
Cars aren't supposed to do that. I'm a standard dealer. They're talking about run-on or dieseling. You know, often a driver will bring a car in for a tune-up because the engine keeps running after he turns off the key.
Pretty good house here today.
By the way, if you would like to get in the step schedules of pocket size, send a stamp, self-addressed envelope to me at WCN 2501 Bradley Place, and the zip code in Chicago 60618. Evans swings in the first pitch, and he lost a deep foul down the right field line out of play. Again for sub-schedules, send a stamped self-addressed envelope to WGN 2501 Bradley Place, Chicago 60618. We'll get them out to you as quickly as it possibly can. And you'll know where they're playing all the time. Another swing and a drive. This time beats Steve Mercer in right field. And he had to leap at the last moment while he was on the edge of the warning track, as that ball started to get new life in it. And Evans disgustedly throws that batting helmet away. Hard hit Minor, deep to right. One gone in the sixth inning. That brings up Willie McCovey. Evans walked him intentionally into the first inning. And he flied out to Kingman in the third to retire the side. First pitch. Veteran takes it outside at the letters. Ball one. Willie starting today, hitting .219. 3 homers this year, 496 in his great career. Here's the pitch. Outside again. Won't go after it. 2-0. Levels the bat. Here's the windup and the pitch. This time it's a strike called in the outside corner, and again it's away from Willie. Russell in the windup. McCovey a swing and a ground ball. Buckner dives, knocks it down. Russell off the mound, takes the throw in time for the out. Beautiful play. And Buckner going after it in a hurry. Russell quickly coming off the mound to take the throw from the Cubs first baseman. Buck had to throw that one on his knees. Russell did what he's supposed to do, came off the mound over to the line, and then runs right straight towards the bag. With the bases are empty, and here's Jack Clark, the right-hander. Singles was rubbed out on a double play in the fourth. He's 1 for 2. First pitch. Clark takes the strike, right at the knee. That's when Russell is on his game, when he throws that sinker down around to hit his knees all the time. Big cut of wide. Clark takes, and that one's a little low. Ball one, strike one. Cool day again. 1-1 pitch. Half swing and a bouncing ball. Targeted to Jesus. Short hop there on the ball. Throws. He's got it. Nice play by Ivan. On a half swing. That's short hopper. They go down in order for the second straight time. Seeing some good defense here. The Cubs come to bat against Bob Nepper in a very tight ball game. Kingman, Mercer, and Otterberg, the first 3 Cub hitters. As we move into the bottom of the 6th, it's still the Cubs 1, San Francisco nothing. For you to borrow up to $10,000. Call Andover 32020, also an office of Santa Key. Giant bullpen now getting busy down the right field line. Lynn McLaughlin, the right-hander, throwing down there. Alcavelli also has a left-hander warming up. Here's lefty in his bullpen, Gary LaBelle, and he has joined McLaughlin. Ben Floyd here with you at Wrigley Field, and Dave Kingman, who struck out in the first inning, walked in the third, stepped in to lead off against Bob Nepper. Going after his 4th win of the year. He throws the curve today, then he takes it inside. Ball one. Nepper in the windup. Here comes. Swung out. He gets under it. Looks a tremendously high pop foul. It's going to be out of play. He gets the shoulder on that. It's pretty good. Remember, tomorrow's the last day of jacket giveaway weekend, so if you're 13 or under, be one of the first 15,000 kids to come out to Wrigley Field for the game against the Giants. You'll get a free 12-gauge finals jacket in Cubs blue with the Cubs emblem on it. 1-1 pitch. Kingman takes it outside, 2-1. He
you must have a fully paid ticket to get your free jacket tomorrow. Bleacher tickets not included. 2-1-6. Takes the strike. Good ball. That's his furnished by the cup. Ball 2, strike 2 on Big Dave. Nepper winds. Here it is. Checks his swing and a slow curve misses inside. And Nepper just up with his job for Michigan. Now to the fifth in of the glove. Kingman steps out of the batter's box for a moment. Full count on it. Left-hander winds. 3-2 pitch. Fastball swung on. That ball is tagged deep down the left field corner. Cannot be caught by Terry Whitfield. It bounces off the wall, and Kingman is on at second with a line drive double. Nepper tried to get him with a fastball. Tried to jam him with it as he did the first time he struck him out. But Kingman is so strong, even though that pitch was in on it, he was able to pull it down there. And Whitfield had to be very nervous about that wall as the foul line comes to within a foot. He held up on the ball just before he got to the line, and he was not able to make the catch. For Dave, it's his fourth double of the year, and here is Bobby Mercer. 1 for 3. With a blistering shot his last time at bat, a liner caught by McCovey. Nobody out. For 6. Backs him away with that one. Ball 1. And McLaughlin and Gary LaBelle continue to throw for the Giants in their bullpen. Each team now with 6 hits, Cubs leading 1-0 and hoping to increase that lead. And Lefty looks down to his big catcher Hill. Has his sign. Looks at Kingman at second. Here's the pitch. Mercer swings, and he misses on a good fastball. Now Nepper is now taking a lot of time. He wants to keep Kingman from rallying a big run here, if he possibly can. Mercer led the club in runs batted in against his old teammates, the Giants, last year. 1-1 pitch. Goes after it. Hits a high fly ball in the shadow left field. Going out the master, coming in is Whitfield, and it's Terry Whitfield, the next hit ball. Bobby got that one almost right off the end of the bat. So Kingman has to hold at second base, and Steve Olivares to be the batter. He's 0 for 2 today, but he came up with a run-scoring play defensively. He is still hampered considerably with that bad back after the muscle spasm. And of course, playing in this cold weather, which the Cubs have had almost repeatedly since the season started, has not hampered, or has not helped him in making a complete recovery from that muscle spasm. First pitch. Olivares goes after a fastball, and he fouls it down by the play. Strike 1 count on the Cubs third baseman, batting right-handed. Exit Brew, right-handed hitter in the on-deck circle. 1-0, Kingman at second with 1 out. Nepper checking, delivered. Fastball, he laid off the tie. Ball 1, strike 1. Brockton now taking a 4-1 lead at Boston in their first game of the Red Sox, batting against Steve Stone in the bottom of the 5th inning. So Bill Lee may wind up with his first loss of the year. 1-1 delivery coming up. Olivares swings a little late on that fastball. Fouls one and threw it into the upper deck on the first base side. The count goes to 1-2. Coming Friday night, it's going to be quite a big event. We're playing the Dodgers out there Friday. The first night high school lacrosse game to be played in Illinois is going to be coming off between New Trier West and Oak Park River Forest. We played at New Trier West in Northfield at Half Road and Winnetka. The first night high school lacrosse game in the state of Illinois. You try to see it. 1-2 pitch. Curve, swung on. Grounded out to the shortstop. He picks it up, makes the throw to first base. The master to McCovey retires out of there. Could have had that one out earlier. With 2 gone, Kingman at third. Whitfield is the batter. Had an infield single in the second. Good shot made in the ball by LeMaster, but he couldn't throw it out. Then in the 4th inning, he hit a hard one-hopper to the third baseman. jumping Cub. They're going to put him on intentionally. Wants no part of Cruz. This will, of course, give them a force play at second base. Has struck out twice today. Now, while they're finishing the intentional walk to Hector, I want to remind you that admission is free to that View Tour West Oak Park River Forest lacrosse game Friday night. I just want to expose as many people as possible to a very fine game of lacrosse. Very fast and very exciting game. Runners at first and third. Hits the curve and a 10-foot strike. Hector Cruz at first base with 2 away. Bottom of the 6th inning. Straight away. Strike 1 pitch coming up the top. Here it is. Larry takes the third and it just missed a little bit high and away. Ball 1, strike 1 to the right-hander. Today, hitting 278. He's dropped a lot of points. He's now hitting 200. 5 for 20 for the year. 1-1 pitch. High with a fastball. 2-9. Rick Russell in the on-deck circle. Both starters have gone to the continuing to blow in, and the crowd hooping it up. 2-1 delivery. Takes the curve, a strike call in the inside corner, and he discusses it. In the on-deck circle, both starters have gone to the wind continuing to blow in, and the crowd hooping it up. 2-1 delivery. Takes the curve, a strike call in the inside corner, and he disgustedly gets out of there. Didn't like that call by young Eric Gregg. The mustachioed catcher back in again. He crowds that play. So with 2 on, 2 out. The count is 2-2. Nepper delivers. Runner at first goes. A swing and a miss to retire the side. They knew what they were doing. It's the third time that Nepper has struck out Larry Cox today. Hit the southpaw, 5 strikeouts for the afternoon. Lead-off double by Kingman, who's left stranded. 1 hit in the inning, an intentional walk. 2 men left. The Cubs have left 7 men stranded. The Giants have left 5 men on. At the end of 6, it's still the Cubs 1, the Giants 7. Rick Russell still nursing a 1-0 lead. And he'll face Larry Herndon, Mark Hill, Denny LeMaster, and maybe that'll be all as the Giants come up here in the top of the 7th inning. You know, if Dad is a Cubs fan, give him the birthday gift that he's sure to appreciate. And that's a gift certificate. Good for any contest here at Wrigley Field. You can use a check or a money order to send $5.50 for reserve box seats or $4.50 for reserve grandstand to the ticket office at Wrigley Field. Chicago 60613. First pitch. Blazing fastball for a strike called in the right-hander. Now, be sure to add 50 cents per order for postage and handling. Be sure to specify gift certificates in your request. Jammed him with that, and he tapped a little foul right at the plate. For gift certificates, $5.50 for reserve box seats or $4.50 for reserve grandstand. The ticket office at the ballpark here, zip code is 60613, and add for every order 50 cents for postage and handling. Russell delivers, Herndon takes, and that one's into the dirt. 1-2. Even Steven contest except for the Cubs 1 run. Back in the first inning. Each team with 6 hits, 1-2 delivery. Sexy swing, the curve is a little bit low, 2-2. Herndon has lined a soft liner to Creel, and he hit into a double play in the 4th. Russell Wine. Here's the pitch. Herndon swings, and he hits one into right field. A base hit. That was a good pitch that jammed him, and he still managed to get it on the ground to the first base side of Trio. So he has his first hit in the Giants' 7th of the day. That will bring up the big catcher, Mark Hill, as 2 for 2. The other Giants are going to play it. Wrigley of Montreal. 5-0. One of the reasons the Expos are leading that Eastern Division today. Throw to first base and Herndon, good speed, back in time. Here's a stretch by Rick. He pushes the butt, and it's foul on the first base side. Herndon, 2 stolen bases, and he's been caught stealing twice this year. Studying the sign of Davy Briscoe pushing his dirt for quite a while. Looks like he was having a little problem puzzling it out. Now the Cub bullpen, busy. Hernandez and Suter down there. Go to first. Almost got him taking his lead. Jump back just in time. Delivery, runner goes. He swings on the hit run, and he drives it through the hole. Big hit it by DeJesus. They have runners at first and third. Beautifully executed by San Francisco. DeJesus broke the cover at second. And Hill pulled that ball through the vacated spot. Now they've got the tying run at third base, and Hill represents the go-ahead run at first. Russell and the Cubs in danger of losing that lead right here. LeMaster, the batter. Singled in the second. Forced Hill with his ground ball in the fourth to retire the side. Rick's got to go to work. Fires the first one. It's swung on and fouled. Back out of play. Now have 8 hits off Rick. Lefty and the righty throwing in the Cub bullpen. Right-hander McLaughlin throwing for San Francisco in their bullpen. LaBelle is shut down. In the 7th. Strike 1 pitch. Misses outside at the knees. 1-1. Rick's last outing against the Dodgers Tuesday, he gave up 9 hits. No decision on it. That's the one that the Cubs won on Trio's double in the 10th inning. 1-run pitch on its way. Here it is. Swung out a liner just over the glove of Russell into center field. The game is tied 1-all. LeMaster's second hit and his second run batted in this year. Russell missed by an eyelash. I'm grabbing that liner. Sinkers just above the knees. Still with Giant runners at first and second. And a tied-up ball game. Giants have been threatening several times today. Finally get on the board. And there's still nobody out. Herman Frank, with his hands in the jacket down in the dugout, looking a little nervous. Bob Knepper due to bat, and he's getting his instructions from manager Joe Altobelli over there in the first base side. Let's pause a moment for station identification. This is the WGN Chicago Cubs Baseball Network.
This is WGN Radio Chicago, 1 minute before 3 o'clock.
San Francisco hits so far today. And 3 singles in succession here in the 7th. But have a pinch runner at second base. Mike Sadek is going to run for Mark Hill. Sadek, the catcher. That's the go-ahead run. Clint Floyd and Lou Boudreau here at Wrigley Field. match, threatening to go out in front now. Knepper stepping in. Cubs, of course, anticipating a sacrifice. Here's the butt attempt, and he misses the pass ball away. Olivares wound up only about 20 feet away from the plate, charging in for it. And De Jesus had broken for third. Olivares coming over. Tells Russell what's going to be on with the next pitch. Up in the edge of the grass where it's cut away at first base, and he'll break to the plate. Olivares about 6 feet up in the grass at third and edging nearer the plate. De Jesus breaks for third base, tries to pick off at second base, and he almost threw it away. Well, it's a good play, Lou. Good spot for it.
Yes, it is. They want to keep, say, that close to that second base in order to force them at third. They have three alternatives in here. De Jesus taking that run to third base and going back for a pickoff, and then they use the second baseman also for the pickoff play.
Rick into the stretch. Jesus breaks for third. Trio standing there as Russell turned. It did not throw. There was some confusion there. And he and Olivares are going to have a little conversation.
I don't know but what I would bring an outfielder in and put 5 men in that infield along with the pitcher if you're going to play a particular way.
Here's the pitcher, and he's going to swing, and he fouls one over to the first base side. Remember when Gene Mott did that against us a few years ago?
Absolutely. That forces a man to swing, which he did right then and there. Now he has 2 strikes on him, but if you keep that pressure on that pitcher, you've got a chance to get out of the inning.
We're tied 1-1. Giant runners at first and second. And a count of 0-2. And the left-handed hitting pitcher, Bob Knepper. Here's the pitcher, and it's way outside to the fastball.
You see, you have an extra outfielder in center field.
Yeah.
Hector Cruz played a lot of third base. Then you move Bobby Mercer over.
Hey, look out. Here's the runner breaking for third as Olivares was over at the mound and apparently had not called time. Boy, there's a mental lapse that really cost.
Yeah, that's the way they put on the play. It's that sign that Olivares moving to the plate. You got to credit Sadak with some smart base running.
They did not call time, and Olivares walking up to the mound. And Sadak, the big runner, seen it, broke for third, and of course there was nobody to cover to take any throw. And Herman Frank really disturbed about that one. Walking out to the mound, those are the kind of mistakes you should not make.
That's very costly. Herman perhaps is upset, as much upset as the Cubs infielders
and broadcasters.
He knows he needs a strikeout right here, so he may go to Suter.
Looking down the bullpen. And Suter's going to get the call. With nobody out, Giant runners at first and third. Game is tied. And the Cubs hoping to keep it that way. And while Suter comes in, gets in his warm-up tosses, we have a delay. Let's take time out for this message. Rick Daly, Chicago Tribune, and you hear him on WGN Radio in the morning with Wally Hoo-Hoo. He's here, and they're debating it over in the press box. The official score is as to whether or not you have to give Mark Hill a stolen base, or can you possibly charge Olivares for an error? I think there has to be a stolen base. So Suter facing Knepper with a count of 1-2, and he throws that one low. Ball 2, strike 2. Infield about halfway in. Suter in the stretch delivers. Knepper swings and misses, and there's one away. Now, Suter has to face Bill Medlock. Bruce, 3 wins, 2 losses, 3 saves. An earned run average of 1.80. First to Medlock. Checks his swing. It's a strike ball. In the inside ball. Russell, while he was in there, had one strikeout. Gave up 9 hits. Sitter down with a strikeout. 0-1 delivery. Checks his swing. Not in time, I don't think. By golly, they lose the appeal. I thought he'd committed himself, but Bill Williams, veteran umpire at first base on the appeal from Larry Cox, said he'd held up. That's good bat control. 1-1 delivery. Swung on and a stop. Liner caught by Creel, and the runners get back to first and third. 2 away. He's 1 man away now from getting out of this jam in the 7th. Time had been called while Creel was talking to Sutter. Terry Whitfield. Sacrifice stand. In a one-hopper, back to Russell to retire the side of the 5th inning. He's going to be the batter, left-handed hitter. Giants 1 and the Cubs 1. First pitch, left-hander pitch, swing and a miss. At Candlestick Park, the home of the Giants, this guy last year hit .388. He had a good go against right-handers, .310. Pitch, a swing and a foul. This pitch going in the hands of Stutzer, leaning over the wall on the line of the plate in third. Whitfield is a cousin of Willie Horton. Great veteran who spent so many fine years with the Tigers, now with the Rangers. He hit .285 last year for the Giants. 0-2 pitch. Swung on, ground ball. Buckner has it at first. They're going to get out of the inning. Stein is retired. And Sutter getting a standing ovation. He came in with Giant runners at first and third. Nobody out. He gets the job done. So they wind up with 1 run. 3 straight singles in the inning. They leave 2 men. The Cubs, as the fans here go into the 7th inning stretch, come to that at the bottom of the 7th. The game is tied 1-1.
Harriman Brewing Company, La Crosse, Wisconsin.
Big banner held up down here just behind the tree there. I don't quite. Hi, Grandpa. Get well soon. There's Grandpa and all of them. As he steps in against Kepler. That swing, and he rolls one out to Madlock. Second baseman picked it up, and there's 1 away. Sadek came into the pinch runner. He's the new catcher. Superb bit of relief work by Sitter in the top of this inning. Now with 1 away, Ivan De Jesus will be the hitter. He has tallied the Cubs' only run today. Single in the 1st inning, and Buckner brought him in with a hit. Since then, he's flied out to the Giants center fielder, Larry Herndon, twice. Paul Russell, eligible today to come off the disabled list. Fastball to Ivan, and he takes it. Paul told me before the ball game that he feels better than he ever has. That arm started to hurt him in spring training. Eligible to come off the disabled list today. Have to make no announcement. Pepper out in front of Ivan. 0-2 pitch. Curve, and the left-hander misses low. 1-2. Giants with 1 run on 9 hits. The Cubs 1 run on 6 hits. Dick Kenny, we want a hit. Here's the delivery. There was a little high, 2-2. Christie still leading Montreal, 5-0. Bottom of the 6th inning. The Cubs could pick up a full game on the Expos with a win. 2-2 pitch. Come out and again a fly ball to the center fielder. Goes to his left and he gathers it in easily. 2 gone, bases empty. Manny Trio, the hitter. 1 for 3. The Pirates still lead it out.
Dodgers 3-0 at the end of 5. Other action in the National League will all take place tonight. White Sox in their first game leading Boston 4-1. At the end of 6. Texas get the Yankees with 5 in the 6th inning to take a 6-1 lead at Yankee Stadium. And the Rangers are batting in the 7th inning. First pitch to Manny, a curve, blowing inside, ball 1. Kansas City 2, Milwaukee 0. Paul Splitdorf trying to get back on the winning side. Going for the Royals. 1-0 delivery to Trio. Fastball, swung on and he fouled it, back out of play. Dennis Lamp, who got knocked out of a start with the rain, getting in some work down in the bullpen. Ray Burris is scheduled to pitch here tomorrow against the veteran Vida Blue. The Giants throw another lefty in. 1-1 pitch. In too close. Right at the belt. 2-1. Cubs have averaged just under 12,500 at home this year, despite the poor weather. Of course, that attendance boosted considerably by the opening day crowd. 2-1 pitch. Trio swings at a high fly ball. Right fielder Jack Clark coming in. He's under it. He's got it. And the Cubs in the 7th inning go down in order. So we move into the 8th. San Francisco coming to bat. We're all tied up 1-1. It's Sunday. In the 8th, it'll be Darrell Evans, Willie McCovey, and Jack Clark, the heart of the batting order. Bruce Tudor, brilliant relief job in the 7th inning, prevented the Giants from taking the lead. Worked out the pitcher, got Madlock on a soft liner to second, got Whitfield on an unassisted grounder to Buckner. They left runners at first and third. He had come in with nobody out. First pitch to the left-handed hitting Darrell Evans, and he looks at a strike on the inside corner. Evans 1 for 3. The split finger fastball, and it's too low. Ball 1, strike 1. Randy Moffett throwing in their bullpen. There's a swing and a miss. He went after one up in his eyes, 1-2. Vida Blue against Ray Burris here tomorrow. That'll be the last day of the Jackets weekend. Last game of the homestand. 1-2 pitch. Swung out of it. He got it. Gave him that good quick finger fastball. Strikeout number 2 for Bruce brings up Willie McCovey. Don't make a mistake with this guy. Stretch was walked intentionally in the first inning, and it paid off when Clark flied out to Mercer to retire the side the Giants left 2 on. First pitch. Didn't really want to swing on that fastball down a bit ease away, but he couldn't check in time. Strike 1 on it. Slide to left, grounded out, Buckner to Russell. There's a ball low and inside. Sky broke in at the old Seal Stadium July 30th of 59 with a pair of singles and a pair of triples off Robin Roberts, one of the greats. The ball inside. Tied the National League mark for most hits and most triples in his first Major League game, and he's just going along ever since. Swing at him at 2-2. What a cut. With 3 consecutive slugging titles in the league in 68, 69, and 50. 2-2 delivery. Swung on, and he hits a little fly ball in the shallow center field. Who's going to get it? Ivan Hastings. Great stop. He's back in the infield and hauls it in. Right out in front of Hector Cruz, who of course was deep for Big Stretch. Base is empty. Jack Clark, 1 for 3. Pacers made a nice play to throw him out in the 6th inning, and that retired the side. Right-handed hitter with a straightaway step. Peter winds. Here's the pitch. Takes the strike at fastball. Away from him above the knees.
We're tied at 1. Nobody on in the 8th. Here's the pitch. Goes back to the split pitch that time with a knuckle curve right in. It's into the dirt. The guy whom the Giants gave up 7 players and a bundle of dough, Charlie Finley in the A's, fly the Blues. Scheduled to pitch tomorrow. Here's the pitch swung on, and he bounces it foul in and out of the Cub dugout in the third base side. Cubs' only run came in the first inning today, and the Giants finally tied it in the 7th. Now count of 1-2 on Jack Clark. Sitter not set, starts the windup. Here's the pitch. Takes one a little bit high. Fastball 2-2. Last year was Clark's first full season in the majors. Played a little bit of ball with him, 75, and a little bit more, 76. Here's the pitch. Swung on it as strike 3. The Sitter cycle. Bruce with 3 strikeouts in 2 innings of relief. Put the Giants down in order, and that was the heart of the batting order. So the Cubs now will have Buckner, Kingman, and Mercer. Let's see if they can unlock this ball game. After 7.5, it's 1-1. Field dealer today. Let me tell you, the folks out here today are getting their money's worth. A sleeker. That includes about 200 from the Warehouse Employees Union Local 743 and about 100 from Montgomery Ward. All a part of the many groups out here today have taken advantage of Ernie Banks, special group sales department here at Wrigley Field. And boy, what cooperation you get from them. Buckner steps in, he swings, and a little soft fly ball. They drop. It does. It's center field for a base hit. And Buckner's going to try to catch it to 2. There's a throw in. He is placed at second base. There were 4 Giants collected around there. And the throw in from center was taken by the third baseman there, 11. Alert base running on a little Texas leaguer. Ball was overrun initially by Herndon, and when Buckner saw that, he went diving in with a hit first flag just in front of the tag. Boy, that's the kind of heady, gutsy base running you like to see. Yes, sir. That's coming from a winning ball club, and that's the only way you're going to win ball games is that type of running. Great judgment by Buckner and a great slide into second base. Opens up the inning now with a double. Dave Kingman, who opened the 6th inning with a double, but was stranded, steps in. Cubs now with 7 hits. Go ahead and run at second. He pushes the butt of the first base side. It's a beauty. Picked up by Member. He has only 1 play. Throws to the Cubby. Buckner, dancing up the line, but Cubby just looks at him and walks slowly up towards the plate. Says, come on, come on. Beautiful sacrifice by Dave Kingman. Here's Bobby Mercer with a chance to give the Cubs the lead. Joe Altabelli, their young skipper, comes out of the dugout on that first base side in a hurry. Earlier in the ball game, Gary Lavelle, their fine left-handed reliever, was throwing, and so was Randy Moffett, and both are up and throwing down the right field line right now. Moffett, of course, young brother of the great women's tennis champ, Billie Jean King. Giants in a big conference on the hill. Now those orange jersey fellows depart to their respective positions. Mercer singled in the first inning. Lined a shot into the glove of McCurdy in the third. They're going to put him on intentionally.
advantage is at home, of course. That's the last time at bat. Here it is in the 8th inning. So Mantabali doesn't want the Cubs to score another run. He knows he's only got 3 more outs against Suter. So he's going to try to play percentages all along here.
Mercer drops down to first base with a walk, and Steve Ontiveros. Mike Mercer came to the Cubs from San Francisco prior to last year. We'll see what he can do against his old teammates. So far today, they've handled him neatly. He is 0 for 3. Popped up, grounded out, slide to right. Bring up the 10. We want a hit. Snapper in trouble, delivers. Curve is low and inside, ball 1. The autograph booth today from 12 to 12:30 at the ballpark. Bruce Sutter was there with Mick Gallagher. 1-0 pitch, swung out. Grounds one down to the third baseman, goes to Matlock for 1. The relay. In time, they get the double play, and the intentional walk pays off. Going to say just before that horrible ending to the inning, that tomorrow in the autograph booth out here, Larry Cox and Ivan DeJesus will be there signing autographs for you from 12 to 12:30. Well, the Giants, their 22nd double play of the year, close out the 8th inning. One hit, a leadoff double. And at the end of 8, it is still tied 1-1. Leading off has scored their only run today. He led off the 7th inning with a single. And came in on Denny LeMaster single in that 7th. He swings the first pitch, bounces it foul down the third base side. Steve Ontiveros is playing him in close. This guy has fine speed. Right-handed hitter. Cubs team picture is now available, along with the roster book. Buy him right here at the ballpark tomorrow. Here's the pitch. Play call. Just below the letters in the inside corner. Of course, you can get them by mail. Roster book is now expanded to 72 pages. 0-2 pitch by Suter. Swung on and a high fly ball. Mercer coming in. Trio going out. Trio still staying with it, and he grabs it in fair territory down the right field side. So on an 0-2 pitch, Herndon pops up. Mike Sadek, he's the batter, stepping in for the first time today. Pinch runner in the 7th inning. Stockley goes second. Hitting .278. He has 5 hits and 18 at-bats this year. No runs batted in. Suter at first pitch. He takes a ball low and inside. The roster book and the team pictures is a beautiful 11 by 14 color print. There's the strike. They had for $1. Then the buck was 25 cents for postage and handling to Souvenirs. Wrigley Field, Chicago, 60613. 1-1 pitch. Sadek swings and a well-hit drive. Kingman should have it. He's back there and left. Reaches up, flips it one-handed, 2 gone. Lamaster will be the hitter. Don't send Esther, though. Send it to Souvenirs, Wrigley Field, Chicago, 60613. $1 for the team picture, $1 for the roster book. And if you order both, then $2 plus 25 cents for postage and handling. Lamaster, 2 for 3 today. This guy's supposed to be a light hitter. Tries to hold up and he's swinging, he can't do it. Strike 1. Right-hander gets out of the batter's box. Let's pause for station identification. This is WGN Chicago Cubs Baseball Network.
This is WGN Radio Chicago at 329.
Here's the pitch, and he bunts one of the third base side. They're going to let it roll, and it's a base hit. Front single. Not a bad move, because he didn't figure he was going to do too much against Suter, I guess, and he dropped it just inside the line. Batting average is going to soar up there like stock market did a couple of days. 3 for 4. He reaches, but the pitcher Bob Nepper is due up here with 2 outs. I don't know, he might as well have swung from the heel, didn't he? Yeah. With a
pitcher coming up next. Yeah, I think he was thinking, I may raise that batting average up 5 more points.
And he figures the Peppers. Here he goes. Here's the pitch. Low. Cox is thrown to second. Into the dirt. And what a play by DeJesus. Holy mackerel. The throw into the dirt. DeJesus got in front of the bag. Left it. And in one beautiful, graceful motion, put the tag on LeMaster sliding in. Absolutely beautiful. Barely has the ball in the fingers of the glove. And he just let LeMaster slide right into the tag. That takes care of San Francisco in the 9th inning. Now, the Cubs come to bat in the 9th, needing a run to win it. It's tied at 1. Up to $10,000. Ball end over 3. 2-0, 2-0. San Francisco had its all-time record crowd. Their last home stand. Their attendance was pretty good this year. Bob Lurie, one of the principal owners, who's right here in Chicago, has been doing an excellent job of helping to promote the ball club in the Bay Area. Here's Hector Cruz leading off. And Depper's first pitch was a ball that didn't break at all. Stayed high and away for ball 1 to Hector. He's got the power to send everybody home happy. 1-0 delivery. The right-hander look out. That ball came in on him and hit the bat. Went foul on the first base side as he tried to duck out of the way of it. 1-1 on him. Giants, that one big record crowd of over 50,000, are averaging over 22,000 for the 9 games they've played at Candlestick Park so far this year. Barely under 200,000. Cubs have been averaging just about 12,500. This is his 12th home day. 1-1 pitch. In too close. Bounces around after getting out of there like he had a pogo stick. 2-1 on Hector. Up with 7 hits. Pepper's delivery. Swung on a drive to center field. Going to be caught by Herndon. Came in a step or two. One away. Here is Larry Cox. They pitched around Cruz in the 6th inning when the Cubs had a man at third with 2 away. They walked Cruz intentionally. And Memphis just ate up Larry Cox. He struck him out for the 3rd time today. First pitch. The right-hander takes the fastball a little low. Ball 1. Giants, 1 run, 10 hits. The Cubs, 1 run, 7 hits. Memphis delivery. Swung on. He's got the little stop foul down the first base side. Winds up in the Giant bullpen. Ball 1, strike 1 on Larry. Those of you may have missed it on Dave Rader. He is able to catch. He suffered a hip pointer last Sunday at Atlanta in a collision at the plate. Still hurting to swing the bat. Cox has done a good job. Although Nepper has handled him awfully well today. Better than anybody we've seen. 1-1 pitch. Takes a cut, and he hits another little foul ball that's going to be out of play down the right field side. Ball 1, strike 2 on him. Russell, in his last start against the Dodgers last week, you recall, left in the 9th after giving up a game-tying pinch-hit homer off the bat of Lee Lacy, the Dodgers, and Sutter came on, finished up the ball game, and the Cubs won it in 10. It's Sutter's 3rd straight save. Day to day, the Cubs have drawn over 23,000. Total here today, 23,552. 1-2 pitch. Top swing. Bounces one down the left side. Picked up by Evans. Whirls throws. He's got it. Fine play by Darrell Evans, showing good range going into the hole towards the shortstop. Had the ball been hit a little bit harder, could have gotten through there. But they're 2 gone. Suter due to be the batter. But Mick Kelleher trying to find a bat down in there, gets one, and he's going to pinch hit. Mick batting .231, 3 for 13. Suter out of the ball game. And unless the Cubs, with 2 gone and the bases empty in the bottom of the ninth, we're tied at 1. Unless the Cubs can come up with a run before Nepper and the Giants close the third out, Suter will not be a pitcher of record, nor, of course, is Russell. Willie Hernandez, the left-hander, throwing in the bullpen. Outings for the Cubs in relief. Got a save at Philadelphia, a win at Atlanta, another win at Atlanta last Sunday, and a win Tuesday against the Dodgers. One to one. Nobody on. Bottom of the ninth inning. Nepper winds. Here's the pitch. Nick swings, took a good cut, fouled it back for a strike. Cubs have been involved in some awfully close ball games. They've had 9 already this year, decided by 1 run. 9 out of their first 23. Then they've had 4 extra inning ball games already. They've won 3 and lost 1 of them. Strike 1 count on Mick Kelleher. Here's the pitch. Broker, the tie. Ball 1, strike 1. Left-hander delivers. Kelleher takes a soaring fastball. Too high. 2-1. Kansas City out in front of Milwaukee. 3-0 at the end of base. Splittorff trying to get back on the winning side. 4-2 has the lead there. There's the swing and a bouncing ball. Short hop by Darrell Evans at third. He's got it. Cubs go down in order in the ninth inning. The White Sox leading at Boston in their first game, 4-1. So we have another extra inning contest at Wrigley Field today. And the Giants come to bat against the new pitcher, Willie Hernandez, with the score tied 1-1. Wouldn't it be great if all you had to do to help your tomato plants grow was water them? True Value Hardware stores are offering tomato guard fencing that eliminates the bother and work of staking and tying each plant. That means most of the hard work is taken out of the growing process. Just put 48-inch high tomato guard fencing around your tomatoes when you plant them for all the support they need to reach lush, ripe maturity. And each 30-foot roll of tomato guard fencing from your True Value Hardware store is enough to cage 6 plants. So this year, take most of the bother and work out of planting tomatoes with tomato guard fencing from participating True Value Hardware stores. Don't forget to tell them that Pat Summerall sent you. The new Cub pitcher, and Bob Nepper is out of action now for the San Francisco Giants as Altobelli is going to go to young Mike Ivey, whom they picked up the end of February from San Diego for Darrell Thomas, Vince Floyd, and Lou Boudreau here with you at Wrigley Field. An exciting ball game. Lou, come on.
2 changes. Hernandez on the mound, so Ivey is going to pinch hit for Nepper. Ivey is hitting .370, 1 home run, 6 RBI. Big right-handed hitter formerly with the San Diego Padres. So here's Hernandez. First pitch, swinging a foul into the stand. So it's the battle of the bullpens from here on in. Ivey will be followed by the top of the order, Madlock. Swinging a hard ground ball at the Jesus. He has it. Fires the first. One out. Ivy hit that ball right on the nose. I'm glad he didn't get under it. He grounds out to the Jesus. One out, and here's Madlock at bat. He's 1 for 4. First pitch by the southpaw. Fastball low below the knees. Madlock wants the plate umpire Gray to take a look at the baseball he does. Tosses it back into play. One out. Nobody on base. We're in the 10th inning. A 1-1 ball game. The pitch, swinging a ground ball fast on the Barris. Into left field for a base hit. Kingman has to get that ball in quickly. He does, throws it high, but Trio leaps to prevent that ball from going into the Giant bullpen. So Madlock gets the 11th hit of the day for the Giants with a ground single into left field, and now here's Whitfield at bat. Stretch by Willie. Goes to first base, and Madlock gets back safely. Whitfield is a left-handed hitter. They're all set. Another throw to first. Madlock gets back safely. Out here in the 10th inning. Hernandez, third Cub pitcher on the mound. Checks Madlock. Here's the pitch to Whitfield. He's going to bunt, but he bunts through the pitch. It's a strike called as the Cubs ask for the appeal, and the third base umpire Fleming says yes, he bunted through that pitch. Strike one. Each team now, of course, playing for that one run. That's a big run. Whitfield's going to bunt again, and he bunts it foul. Strike two. Now on Whitfield. He'll be followed by Darrell Evans. Same two teams meet tomorrow afternoon. And don't forget it, giveaway day, jacket giveaway day. At 23,000 here today. Two strikes on Whitfield. Madlock on first. Time is called at the plate. Now we're set. Cubs play Whitfield and swing late. 0-2 pitch. Instead, he throws to first. Madlock is back safely. Bill has one stolen base so far this year. He has not been caught so far this year. He has not been caught stealing as yet. The pitch on its way. Curveball, a swing, a fly ball to right field. Mercer coming in. Still coming in. He's under it. Gloves it for the out. 2 outs. And here is Evans. Evans is a tough hitter. And Buckner and Herbert Frank, of course, will have to make a decision now whether to play behind the base runner or not. That's the lead run at first base, so Buckner is going to hold him on. Evans, left-handed hitter. He has 1 for 4. First time he's facing Hernandez. Swing and a miss on a curveball. Strike one. Madlock has been known to attempt a steal. The Cubs know that. One strike pitch. Instead, he throws to first to hold Madlock close to the base. 2 outs here in the 10th. Cubs won, Giants won. Donnie Moore starts warming up down the left field line for the Cubs. Now we're set once again. Hernandez keeping an eye on Madlock. Here's a pitch outside and low. 1-1 to count. Montreal has come up with 2 runs in the 7th inning. But Cincinnati still leads 5-2 at the end of 7.5 innings of play. Pittsburgh 3 and Los Angeles 1 at the end of 7.5. Here's the pitch. There's a pitch out. It's now ball 2, strike 1 to Evans. Madlock has his sign from a third base coach, Bristol. Hernandez into the stretch. Here's the pitch to Evans. It's low. Ball 3. Willie McCovey due up next. Now with a count of 3-1. Let's see if Madlock will be off with this pitch towards second base. Here it is. He stays. Swing and a foul. That's onto the net. So now he will be taking off, and Buckner will play behind him. And Buckner's going to come in to tell Hernandez he's going to play behind him, but he may sneak in and take a throw from him on the first pitch, not to give Madlock that good lead. 3-2 on Evans. 2 out, 10th inning. Buckner is playing far back of the base runner now, almost in a normal position. And Madlock is taking an extra step or 2. Here's the pitch. Checks his swing. It's ball 4. Lead runner goes to second base. Evans is on first, and Willie McCovey's the hitter. So Hernandez has his work cut out for him. That was not a good spot for a walk. Madlock on second, Evans on first. Cubs infielder playing back. So is the outfield. First pitch is a curveball outside. Ball 1. Clark due up next. But right now, the problem is that the plate in the person of Willie McCovey. And here's the ball 1 pitch by Hernandez. Strike. Right down the middle. 1-1 to count. Hernandez has a sign. He checks the base runners. Pitch on its way. Fastball for a strike. And it's 1 ball, 2 strikes. McCovey looking for a breaking pitch. And Willie threw the fastball past him. But now here's the important pitch. Hernandez is ready. Pitch on the way. Curveball. He wouldn't go after it. It's 2-2. Ball 2, strike 2, 2 out. Giants with runners on first and second. We're in the top of the 10th. 1-1 ball game. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He fired one past McCovey, striking him out for the 3rd out in the 10th inning. No runs, 1 hit. 1 walk, 2 men left on the bases. The Cubs come to bat, needing 1 run. It's all tied up 1-1. Randy Moffett is the new pitcher, and James is the new first baseman. So Moffett will have the honor of batting 4th if he gets to the plate, and James will be batting 9th. And in the bottom of the 10th inning, the Cubs will send the top of the order to Jesus Trio Buckner. For Moffett, his record is 1-1. He has a high run average of 4.15. This is his 10th game. He's only pitched 13 innings, allowed 14 hits. First pitch to Jesus, sidearm, fastball for a strike. He's walked 5, struck out 11. He's allowed 1 home run that he hit off of the service. Curveball for a strike. And he has dropped his arm, throwing sidearm pitches to the Jesus. He's jumped out in front, 0-2. Fastball outside and low, ball 1. slide out 3 times to the center fielder. Curveball swing, line drive, left field. Whitfield coming in his feet, and he makes the catch as he tumbles almost a diving catch. The ball was sinking quickly, but Whitfield coming in made the catch. 1 out, and here is Manny Trio. Trio is 1 for 4. It is followed by Buckner. Moffett into the windup. The pitch, fastball swing, a line driver to Matlock, who catches it on the fly right at his shoe top. And Trio is out. 2 out. And now here's Bill Buckner, the only Cub with 2 hits today. Cubs had a great opportunity in the 8th to put this game away. Then Buckner opened up with a double, smart base running to get to second base. But then a double play. The runners on first and third closed out the inning. First pitch outside and low, ball 1. We are in the 10th inning. Cubs 1, Giants 1. Same 2 teams will meet tomorrow afternoon. The 1-ball pitch on its way. That's the strike over the outside corner. 1-1 to count. 2 outs, nobody on base. Moffett is ready. The pitch on its way. Full curveball for a strike, and Buckner didn't like the call. And he says so to the plate umpire, Greg. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Two pitch. Checks his swing, the ball is inside, and the count goes to 2-2. Buckner will be followed by Kingman. Ball 2, strike 2 on 22 at the plate, and there are 2 outs. Swing, a ground ball to Matlock. It comes up nicely to him, and he throws to James for the out. So the Cubs go down 1-2-3 in the 10th inning. No runs, no hits, nobody left on base. We move along to the 11th inning. Cubs 1 and the Giants 1.
Here in the 11th inning, Jack Clark is to lead off against Willie Hernandez. Got into a bit of a jam in the 10th inning, a 1-out single. Got Whitfield for the 2nd out, then wound up walking Darrell Evans. But he came right back and struck out Willie McCovey to leave 2 Giants stranded. Clark, 1 for 4 today, right-hander. First pitch by Willie. He bunts it on the first base line sharply and foul. Buckner picked it up way over and foul. Good go in. Tag Clark flying down that line just for the heck of it. Vince Floyd back with you here at Wrigley Field. We got a dandy in our hands. Willie's last work was Wednesday against the Dodgers. Comes over the top of the curve, throws it into the dirt. 1-1. It's a game, of course, which Los Angeles won 9-5, and the Cubs looked not too good in that one. Wind up, 1-1 delivery. Comes back with a breaking ball, and it misses inside of the knees. 2-1 now. Is reported used a fastball strike on the inside corner. Clark not at all happy with that one. He thought it was in too close. Lacey homered for the Dodgers in the 9th inning with nobody on at Pittsburgh. 2-2 pitch. Swung on, he hit a ground ball to the Jesus. He's got it. Straightens up, takes to Buckner. 1 away. The ball was hit hard. Pittsburgh was leading 3-1. While they report the homer in the 9th inning for the Dodgers, they have not yet reported what Cincinnati or what Pittsburgh did in the bottom of the 8th. I presume they let the Pirates back. Here's Larry Herndon. Right-hander singled and scored the Giants' only run of the day. That single came in the 7th inning. He looks at it high. Ball 1. Willie in his second inning of relief delivers. Puts a little too much on that one and misses low and inside. 2-0. Oakland has gotten underway to beat the Tigers last night for their 5th straight win. Dual pitch, hit high, ball 3. But they're off on the wrong foot this afternoon. Detroit jumped out in front with 3 runs in the first inning at Oakland. Willie has suddenly lost control here with 1 out in the 11th inning. 3-0 delivery. That's too high. Ball 4. So again, the Giants get the go-ahead run on, and with 1 away before Sadek steps in, let's pause for station identification. This is the WGN Chicago Cubs Baseball Network.
This is WGN Radio Chicago at 1 minute before 4.
Sadek, in his only trip to the plate in the 9th inning, flied out to Kingman in left field. That bullpen will get busy. Donnie Moore starts to throw. Sadek, a chunkily built right-hander, choking way up in the bat about 4 or 5 inches. So look at first and a throw to first base. Herndon, good speed. Even though he has been hampered in his major league career by knee injuries. Now time called. Sadek wants to go down to talk to Davey Bristol, his third base coach. Out of San Francisco. The end of the next road trip, starting Tuesday at San Diego. Runner goes, he throws to Buckner. Buckner throws to the Jesus. Yvonne chasing him back, throws to Buckner. He's acting to retire the side. They expected him to go, and they nailed it. Buckner getting the foot out. Herndon caught stealing. In the 11th, no runs, no hits. Nobody left on. A run will win it. The Cubs come to bat in the bottom of the 11th inning, and Dave Kingman to lead off. It's still 1-1. Well, you know what everybody is thinking about here at Wrigley Field is Dave Kingman in this 1-1 ball game leads off the 11th inning against Randy Moffett. The sinker ball artist. Here's the windup with the right-hander. Kingman gets under it, and he lifts a high foul. Let's hope it's going to be back out of play. It is. He was really trying to dip the shoulder and hit one a mile up in the air. Come on now, Dave. He doubled in the 6th inning leading off. Got as far as 3rd, and that was it. Got a home here against the Dodgers on Wednesday. Hit it off Doug Rao. 0-1 pitch. Swinging out of it. Very good cut. Pop it at a little extra. Left-hander Gary Lavelle again starts to throw in the San Francisco bullpen. Davis walked, sacrificed, doubled, and spanned today. 0-2 pitch. Swung on a miss. He got it. Breaking ball away. With 1 out, Bobby Mercer the batter. Singles, lined out, slide to left, and was walked intentionally in the 8th. That paid off for the Giants as Oliveira stood into a double play to retire the side. Moffitt's first pitch, strike called, right at the letters. Moffitt 1-1 for the year. Right-hander works quickly. Curveball, outside, ball 1, strike 1. Milwaukee defeating Kansas City today, 4-3. Holds the Brewers up to the 500 mark at 12-12. 1-1 pitch, sidearm sinker low. Ball 2, strike 1. Ball split off, does not break the losing streak. 2-1 pitch. One out. Mercer hits one deep to center field. Herndon back. Looks like he's got room. He grabs it right on the warning track in deep right center field. run in the 11th. And now Tavares will now step in, batting left-handed for the first time today. 0 for 4 is the right-hander this afternoon. The lefty's batting 167. Looks at the first pitch, low and inside, ball 1. By Kansas City. Here's the pitch. Swung on. He hits one deep down the right field corner. Way back out there. It is a foul ball. Up into the box seat. Way down the right field line. That's as good a shot as Steve has hit in a long time. 0-1, strike 1. Kansas City is losing today. Their 10th defeat after 14 wins. Really buzzing with that shot. Deep line drive. Wind up in the 1-1 pitch. Swung on. The ball came breaking in on him, and he fouled it back out of play. 1-2. The Cubs could pick up a full game on Montreal. The Expos lost at Cincinnati today, and that series is now even. That's a winner, 6-2. Would leave the Cubs only a game out in the Eastern Division. 1-2 pitch. Outside. Ball 2, strike 2. Rudy Mays tagged with that loss today. Tom Seaver has his first win of the season. It's a swing, deep drive, right center field on the run is Vernon. He is there and he grabs it. Got a good jump on it. The receiver has broken the ice for the win. And here, as it begins to get a little bit on the icy side, we're going into inning number 12. And it is still tied, 1-1. General Finance for me, Bob Adams.
Fred Trips here, Bob. The man without a home.
Oh, what happened, Fred? Hurricane, fire?
Parents, Bob.
What?
They kicked me out of their house.
Their house?
Can you believe it, Bob? After 42 years,
Well, it's a...
my wife and I will be needing a moving loan,
you
Bob.
both lived in...
We're going to move in with her folks.
You sure you want to do that?
Oh, sure. They just love their baby girl.
That's nice.
They just think the 4 boys are loud.
Well, boys will be boys.
These boys will be a rock band.
Must be very entertaining.
Oh, yes. Shep and the 12 pups get so excited.
I better get to work on that moving loan. Where will you be living?
The south, the west, the north.
How can you live in...
We'll go wherever her folks take their trailer.
I'll throw you that loan.
Oh, thanks, Bob.
You can always get a little help from a friend at General Finance. There are 70 General Finance Chicago area offices. Call General Finance's friendly Bob Adams to borrow up to $10,000. Call handover 32020. Also an office in Kansas City. Lemaster singled in the second inning, reached in the fielder's choice, but it retired the side in the fourth. In the 7th inning, he drove in the Giants' only run of the day with a base hit, and he reached with a bunt single in the 9th. First pitch, tries to bunt, and he goes right on through it for a strike. Despite Lee Lacy's home run today at Pittsburgh, the Pirates knocked off the Dodgers 3-2. 0-1 delivery. Ball broke a little bit too low. Ball 1, strike 1. And he's starting his 3rd inning of relief. That's giving his sign. 1-1 delivery. Swung on a miss. Jammed him with it that time. Up around the letters. Ball 1, strike 2. Ivy in the on-deck circle. Lemaster was at bat in the 11th inning when Herndon was picked off first base, caught stealing to retire the side. Wind up the pitch, swung on, and he pulls himself a base hit through the hole, and he has himself his 4th hit of the day. Supposedly light-hitting shortstop. Really been a thorn in the side of the Cubs today. He represents the go-ahead run on a 1-2 pitch. pulled a single between Olivares and DeJesus. They got 9 hits off Rick Russell in 6 innings, 1 run. Sitters came on, inherited a situation with nobody out, runners at first and third in that 7th inning with the game tied. And he left those runners stranded. Johnny Moore throwing again in the Cub bullpen. Mike Ivey stepping in, or Skip James, I'm sorry. And he pushes the bunt of the third base side. Picked up by Hernandez. Throws to second too late. Apparently, Larry Cox hollered to him to go to second base. There was no way they were going to get him. Skip James is on at first base with the fielder's choice. Not the time at bat. Officially, he's credited with a sacrifice. Stage in judgment, Lou.
Yes, it was very costly. He wasn't close at second base. Hernandez looked a little disgusted as to just a mistake of somebody calling the play. Judgment. Well, the answer is pretty fast. Yeah. It was a good bunt. Now the situation is something that we'll see how Alcavelli plays it. Sacrifice is in order, but Madlock is the hitter. He makes contact.
He has 2 hits today in 5 at bats. Nobody out. Here's the delivery. Cubs anticipating his sacrifice. Buckner charged way up towards the plate, and he took a strike at the letters in the inside corner. Buckner was looking right down Madlock's throat. He could have counted any shillings that Bill has. Spot to be in if suddenly Madlock would take a swing. Olivares up a little bit at third base. Buckner again charging up the line. And here's the bunt on the third base side. Picked up by Hernandez. Wheel throws to first base. Trio taking it. And the Giants have runners at second and third on Madlock. Beautifully dropped sacrifice just inside the line on the third base side. Master, who's batted in their only run of the day, represents the go-ahead run at third, and Herman Franks coming out of the dugout in a hurry. They have a left-hander, Terry Whitfield, will be followed by Darrell Evans.
Quite a decision here for Herman. With men on second and third, whether to walk this man, play for a force out at any base, a double play, or to go ahead and give all you've got to try to get this fellow out with a pop-up or a ground ball or a drawn-in infield or a strikeout. Then you have Evans at bat. You could put Evans on at that particular time and force Alcavelli to go to a pitch hitter because Moffitt is batting in the 4th spot.
Harmon is giving his counsel. One hand tucked in the pocket of that heavy windbreaker. Strides back into the dugout. Whitfield, the left-hander, sacrificed in his 0 for 4 officially, and they're going to put him on essentially to load him up here in the 12th inning. This is the longest hit that Hernandez has had in relief this year. He's worked 2 innings on 3 different occasions. 4 innings, or 1 inning 4 times. 2/3 of an inning on another outing. And he's now throwing 2 1/3 here today. There's ball 4. Whitfield drops the bat. Shotgun down to first base. And Darrell Evans, the batter, with 1 away, tied at 1. The bases jammed. LeMaster on at third. Skip James on at second. He comes from Elmhurst, Illinois. James says. And the runner at first, Terry Whitfield. Evans, a left-hander. 1 hit today and has reached on a walk. He swings and he bounces 1 foul over to the first base side. Ball game on the line right here in the 12th. Hernandez trying to keep the doors slammed and the Giants delivers. Evans goes after that pitch and he fouls it back up onto the screen. The count goes to 0-2. Here is the strike. And the 0-2 pitch swung on at a high pop-up. Infield fly rule is called. Buckner under the ball. He grabbed it.
Carried it in the glove all the way down to the grass. But the infield fly rule applied on that one. And now Joe Altobelli is going to go to Vic Harris as a pinch hitter. And he was with St. Louis a while. Now he's been reunited with Matlock, with the Giants. Very quiet, soft-spoken individual. Good speed. They've used him in the outfield. They've used him in the infield. He's been about 18 times this year, and I almost hate to mention it. He is 0 for 18. Last year with the Giants Farm Club at Phoenix. Most of the season, he was with San Francisco, and he hit .261 with them. Well, keep your fingers crossed. Bases jammed, 2 gone to the 12th, tied at 1-1. Harris batting right-handed, first pitch. Willie just missed inside at the knees. Ball 1. The knob. Wide stance for him. Hands well out over the plate. Didn't used to hit that way. That's just a strike. Right at the letters, inside corner. Giant runners on all of the bases. Nick stepped out for a moment. Now he's back in, leveling the bat. Hernandez in the stretch. 1-1 delivery. Breaking ball just missed a little low. Ball 2, strike 1. Harris wouldn't go after it. Ball, it's too low. Ball 3, strike 1. He hurried that pitch. Larry Cox is going out to settle him down. Hollering to him from the edge of the grass in front of the plate. With the bases jammed in the 12th, the score tied at 1. The count, ball 3, strike 1 on Harris. Pinch hitting for Randy Moffett. Hernandez in the stretch, 3-1 pitch. Big strike, all over the inside corner. He started down the first base. Dealt high, barely nipping the inside edge of the plate. And now it is 3-2 with 2 out. And the runners will be going with the delivery of this pitch. Here's the stretch. Hernandez fires a swing. Well, it drives down the left field line. Kingman running. And the ball goes foul on a play, thank heaven, or 3 runs would have scored. Holy mackerel. He is not supposed to be getting anything that he can pull down that line because Dave is playing way off the line for him. That ball dropped way down into the corner. Willie's got to come in there. He kept walking. It forces him to go ahead and run. So here's a stretch again with bases jammed, 2 out, 3-2 pitch. Harris takes ball 4 inside above the knees. The Giants take a 2-1 lead. Bases remain loaded. Jack Clark is not going to bat against Hernandez. Herman Franks is coming out. And it looks like he wants to make a couple of changes here. General Finance Chicago area offices. Call General Finance's friendly Bob Adams to borrow up to $10,000. Call Andover 3-2020. Also an office in McHenry. Well, there's nothing, I guess, more frustrating when your man, your pitcher, gives that base on balls with the bases loaded.
But it's happened several times to other clubs already this year. And, of course, Johnny Moore makes it more than anybody else. Well, Willie Hernandez does. Johnny Moore inherits a bases-loaded situation. When Jack Clark, the hitter, right-hander, stepped in against the right-handed pitcher. The first pitch is a strike call, a fastball right at the knees away. Here's the windup and the pitch. Little low. Ball one, strike one. For the bases loaded, Suzuki Harris is on at first. Ball one, strike one. Here comes. Swung on, ground ball. Buckner dives. The ball hits his glove and rolls that back. It's the runner. It's the runner. He dove for the ball. The runner, Harris, taking off for second base in front of Buckner. Ball hit him and came back into the infield dirt. Harris tried to leapfrog over the ball, jumped as high as he could, tried to scissor over it, but he couldn't quite do it. And Buckner diving for it, and all of a sudden the ball wasn't there. Still, credit Buckner with a foot out, and the Giants, one run in the 12th inning on one base hit. Two base hits, I'm sorry. And three men left. So the Cubs face a left-hander as they come to bat in the 12th inning, and the Giants have a 2-1 lead. Well, delivers the first one. Cruz leading off against him, and he takes it for a strike. Lavelle, one of the premier relievers in the business. Fastball. Outside for ball one. They have 13 hits. The Cubs with 7. Here's the pitch. Takes the ball, low it away. Ball two, strike one. Val, 29 years of age. 1-2, lost 2. 6 delivers. Strike called as Cruz jumping away from it. He thought it was inside. Now the fans sitting on young Eric Gregg, the plate umpire. Cruz out of the batter's box off to one side. Infield single for him today. 1 for 3 for the afternoon. Walked intentionally in the 6th. 2-2 delivery. Swung on and a high fly ball down the right field foul line. 3 Giants running after it, and it is caught out there by the right fielder, Jack Clark, who made a long, long run and had to come right over the bullpen mound. And he had his hands out in front of him and made a very, very fine catch. The tough situation. Shock. Looking at the ball, low and inside. The victory would go to Randy Buffett. The Giants hold on. There's a swing, and he clapped a one bouncer right to the shortstop. Lemaster picked it up close to Mike Ivey near 2 away in the 12th inning. That's 1 run back in the 1st inning. Total 7 hits for the day. Of the year. First pitch. Right-hander looked at the ball. Fastball missing down and away. Swing and a foul on the catcher Smith. 1-1. It looks like they're going to open up with a win in this 2-game series. Unless we get a miracle. 1-1 pitch. Hines goes after a low sinker. Tries to hold up. He can't do it. That pitch was down and away. Ball was into the dirt. Grabbed by the catcher. Played after he sacked Wine. And the ball game is over. And the Giants have a victory. 3 up and 3 down. 1 run back in the 1st inning, and that was it for the Cubs this afternoon. The final, San Francisco in 12-2, and the Cubs won. Randy Moffett gets his 2nd win, gets 1 loss, and Willie Hernandez is charged with his 1st defeat after 2 wins, a lengthy 3 hours and 11 minutes. Oh, boy. We got to start scoring some runs, Bruce. Yeah, this has been our trouble right along. We just haven't got that hit at the right time. We've been getting men on base, and it's a struggle to get the hit.